Hello, 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 hello. Sorry about the delay. There was a little bit of a delay because my daughter was in the bathroom and I had to put my lippy on. You see, and I didn't really do a good job because I've messed it up. There you go. That's right. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all you lovely Spurs fans. You know why we're here? We're here to discuss lots of different things about Spurs. But you know what? There's a lot of there's a lot of things that I'd like to discuss about my career, first of all, and also growing up in Tottenham. And I made a funny intro to, advertising the show. Um, Basically, I put it out there that, I went to Seven Sisters School and I had seven brothers. So I think most people know that by now because I always say it. I always say I've got seven brothers, but I actually went to Seven Sisters School in Tottenham as well. But you know what? The main thing is when you're growing up anyway, you've got lots and lots of things to talk about. And there's loads of things that, are in people's memories. There's loads of things that, spark your memory about Tottenham. I mean, myself, is playing at Markfield. Well, it's Markfield Grammar School, and then it changed to the Drayton School. And I know Swim Master was one of those who knows about Drayton School because he actually went there and he was in Yellow House. And I was actually in Blue House. And I've always loved playing football from a young age. My mum didn't really like me playing football, but I still carried on with loads of whacks round the head from my mum, being that she was a lady from Cyprus that didn't really approve of girls playing what she called boys' sports, right? But there was the women playing football from the 1880s. So, women have always been playing football regardless. And it's not a man's sport, it's a people's sport. Yeah. So what I'd like to talk about is basically when I was at school, it was like really fun. I always loved PE. I always liked sports. I played in the hockey team at school as well. Got a few whacks on the leg early doors, but that's how it was, like because if you're a tomboy growing up as well, I think people in the chat who were tomboys, like myself, would recognise that. And you know what? The fact is, when you're growing up, regardless, you're sort of finding your own feet, you're finding your own niche in life. And mine was football. I absolutely adored playing football. It was such fun, and I had a good time. I had loads of friends, at school. Peter Daly, Albert Kinlock, and Brian Lamberter, who I've sent the links to, but some of them are at work, so they won't be able to join us, unfortunately. But you know what? It doesn't matter because they know me inside out because I talk to them on Facebook regardless. And one thing that stands out in my school history is that I played in the boys' team. I was actually selected in the boys' team at 12 years old. Well, I was 11 and a half actually, because it was 6 months into, arriving at Drayton School. All my brothers had been there before me. My brothers, Louis, who's Julie's dad, going down to Paul, to John, who actually played for Spurs as well. He actually was in the academy and then he gave it up. But that's another story I'll tell you another day. And then there was Soterius, who we call Laggy, George, Pascalis, Badeskevas, who I call Boo. Everybody knows I talk about my brother Boo, very fondly, because he's probably my favourite brother. I know you're not supposed to have favourites, but he is. And then myself, and I'm the only girl. And I had seven brothers growing up in the Seven Sisters area of Tottenham, which was really funny. I put that in my advert as well to promote the show. And, Seven Sisters School was a very nice school. I remember playing in the team there as well, but there was no real clubs then in terms of the school clubs. We played football for a laugh, and there were like competitions between each school, but there was no real league setups, for young kids in those days. there was little amateur leagues and little professional leagues here and there scattered about, but no proper leagues, especially for girls, you know, because in those days, girls' football was sort of raw, really raw. And I'm talking about 1972, 73, and then 1974 when I moved on to Drayton School. I had a really good blast. So I was born in 1962, right? So I was 12, I was 11 and a half when I arrived at Drayton School. But it was called Markfield Grammar School first, and now it's called Gladesmore Community School, right? So I'm really proud as well. I must mention that my school, they actually sang at the opening ceremony of the opening ceremony of our stadium. So I'm really proud of that. And you know, it's one of those things that stick out in my memory when they did the opening ceremony, because I was taking it all in. But when I heard my school, Gladesmore Community School, I was so chuffed, you know, makes you feel proud, you know. Anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to welcome a few people into the chat. We've already got Mark Cousins. Mark Cousin, welcome. Big up, Elly'S. It's about our history. It is going to be about our history, but what I'm going to do is start out a little bit about myself. People might have not have seen me on the Irish Hotspur early days where I talked about my Spurs career. So anybody who's new to this, you know, in terms of Queen Elly Hoybier, who was born on the Irish Hotspur. That was my nickname on there, you see. So, yeah, I'm just going to talk a little bit about myself, not too much, but I just want to say that, I mean, I was signed up by Spurs ladies. They just formed a ladies team, and they were picking out 11, 12-year-old girls, and they saw me playing in the boys team in Haringey at my school at Drayton's, the Drayton School, I should say. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed my time training. And then by the time I was 15 3/4, I made it into the actual first team. So what I'm going to do is bring up the first banner that I've got. My Spurs story, growing up in a male-dominated household with seven brothers. I will survive for as long as I know how to love. I know I'll stay alive. Right, I'm not the best singer, obviously, but I was a very, very good footballer. And I learned from my brothers, actually. They made me tougher. They made me, like, robust. And I was only about 8 stone or 7.5, 8 stone at the time. I remember I had a 19-inch waist. I can't believe I was that thin. I mean, I probably got a 19-inch nose now, right? So you have to take the mickey out of yourself sometime. But yeah, it's so exciting, and obviously being chosen by Spurs ladies was like a great honour, you know, pulling on that lily white shirt, just training at Somerset School. We trained in Dan Hills Park, and then later on we moved to Hackney Marshes, because Dan Hills Park, they wouldn't let us play there. You know, there was a lot of anti-women football thing, not just from the, you know, the borough itself. So we had to move out of the borough to play at Hackney Marshes. So Hackney Marshes was like, I don't know if anybody knows it, but it's a bloody dump. It's horrible. There's hardly any grass. And there were grass pitches, but they were played by men's football, right? And they weren't that good either. But the pitches we played on were terrible. They had poo on them, they like scampy grass, and then you came home smelling the poo, I'm telling you. And my mum used to go, "Why you play football, Elly? Why you play?" And I said, "Because I love it, Mum. I love it. It was in my blood, it was in my fabric to play football, you know." And I absolutely adored playing for Spurs, you know, even though we were a proper formed club, but we tried to get notoriety from the club to, you know, take us on and like give us money for kit. We had to raise all our own money. Obviously, going to play away matches and home matches were a lot easier, but away matches, it was tough because hardly anybody had cars. We were all from a poor background, really. I mean, Andrula are vouch for this. Like, when you've got 7 brothers to feed and, you know, my mum and dad are working their socks off to provide for us. It's tough, you know, but we got through it. And like, I'm going to refer to my notes because, like, being 62 nearly, you know, sometimes you forget, you know, it's one of those things, yeah. So I remember being 12 years old, obviously, and signing. 15 3/4, I made my debut versus Dagenham. Right, they had an amateur girls team. They weren't professional, and there wasn't many organised leagues then, if you know what I mean. So we just played friendlies against each other. But then West Ham formed in 1985, I believe, but they were called Dagenham. I think they were called Dagenham and Redbridge, if I remember rightly, or just Dagenham FC. I can't remember, but I have to look it up anyway. But the main thing is we played lots and lots of games, friendlies, and I remember being at Drayton School just before my 17th birthday. I'd already played my debut at 15 3/4 against Dagenham, and we invited this American. Well, they were Americans, but they had an American girls football team. They had an American boys football team. So the American boys football team played against our boys team, who I was still set up. I was still in there, but I was just playing sporadically. And I remember my friend Brian Lamberter, that's it. Sorry, because my memory goes. Brian Lamberter, he said, "Why don't you play for us and for them?" And I said, "Well, I can't because you're training for the next game." So I couldn't really do both, if you know what I mean. And yeah, I just enjoyed playing football. Anyway, this American team came. They were called Philly Raiders. If I remember, Philadelphia Raiders. That's what they called themselves. And I remember it was a really good game. We went 1-0 up, then they equalised, then we went 2-1 up and they equalised. And we won the game 5-2 eventually, and I scored 2 goals. Right, so I was really chuffed with that. And yeah, let me get that banner up as well, because I actually made a reference to that, I think. No, it's not that one. Right, that's when we amalgamated. Yeah, okay, let me see which one it is. Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. The main thing is that we played against this American team and they were bloody physical. I'm telling you, they were big girls, physical, you know, stronger than us in terms of their physicality, but skill-wise, we were a lot ahead of them. But we played it at Markfield Park, and I just remember jumping up for the ball and then the girl colliding into my shoulder, breaking my collarbone, well, like fracturing it, not breaking it completely, and dislocating my shoulder. And to this day, this shoulder kills me, honestly, people. Like, it really does hurt, right? And I didn't recover for I was in and out of hospital. I remember it was Prince Wales Hospital, and I was in and out of that hospital for about 8 or 9 months, if I remember rightly. Yeah, my mum was taking me and then bringing me back. Then I stayed in for 3 or 4 days because they tried to reset my collarbone. And then they thought it was reset on my own, you know, not reset it, but make it fixed with a stint. But they said, no, it'll repair on its own because it wasn't fractured enough. And I just remember that. And like, here we go. Like, I'm training at Downhills Park and Markfield and later Hackney Masters, just playing friendlies versus local or national teams, as no real leagues, doing circuit training later at 15 to 16 years old to get fitness. Sorry, because I'm a little bit dyslexic there. I put I've done that wrong. So there was, because there was no structured league in the south, there were friendlies and some league involvements early doors. So we played versus local girl clubs like Enfield Rangers and High Cross Girls, and a proper league was set up. Right, that was let me just get the next banner up, if it will come up. I don't know why it's not coming up, which is silly. Right, come on. Oh yeah, because I haven't saved it. There we go. Right, so that was in 1978-79 season where a Southern Girls League was set up, but I don't remember what the league was called. I've got it in my scrapbook that's up in my loft, so I will get that out, but I think it was Haringey and something else. National Southern League, if I remember rightly. But we won the league 3 times in 5 years, and then that took us up to about 1982. Sorry, we played in that league. Yeah, and right, let me take that one off. Right, and then if I remember rightly, because it's such a long time ago, and my memory goes. But I've been writing notes. I need to get my scrapbook out, so because I've got loads and loads of memorabilia and loads of pictures in that. Right, so I finished my career basically because that collarbone, and I broke my leg as well, and I did my ACL ligament injuries on my left leg, and I broke my ankle on my right leg as well. So that was the end of my career, really. 1983, 1984. I just got married as well to Theo. He's Theo, formerly known as Tios. Right, so yeah, I broke my collarbone, and that injury down there on my ankle was really, really bad because it snapped. And to this day, I've got loads of bruising around my leg. I don't want to show you because it'll gross you all out. And yeah, I just enjoyed myself really, even with the injuries, even with like the broken collarbone, even with the broken legs, even with the ACL injury, it didn't put me off because my love for football was like second to none. It was like I lived, breathed, and drank football, But my mum still was in the background, quite sort of adamant that I shouldn't play, but I just kept on playing. But my dad, his name's Elly'S. We used to call him Louis. Well, all his friends called him Louis. And Andrula, I hope you're in the chat as well, because you'll remember a few things about your Auntie Elly keepy uppies. I used to be really, really brilliant at like freestyling as well. Not so much now because the injuries, they make you injured and then your body starts getting older. But I can still flick the ball over and catch it at the back of my neck, then flick it back. It hurts a bit more because of the shoulder and because of my neck. But other than that, I can keep the ball up. I played football. And I also went over to Stell's football club just recently. Well, in the last 3 years, I was a coach there, just for under 60s to 80s, 6 to 8 year olds, and then I did an under 6 team as well later on. But that's because when I hung my boots up in it was in 1983, end of 1983, going into 1984, I went over to Enfield Rangers Football Club where I live. And I was a coach there, and I'd done my badges. I'd done one badge, the FA badge, and then I'd done my second badge, but I didn't quite finish it because first of all, I got married and I was pregnant, so it was a bit harder. And I don't know. I remember saying to myself, I want to do it, and then I didn't do the second badge fully. So I've still got my first badge, but I should have really, really gone into coaching full time. But I did do the coaching there. My Paul's man, George Dudley, his son was the coach there as well. And I went over there very regularly, but there was not many girls that were playing at that time. And by 1986, then 1985, Tottenham Hotspur ladies were formed, and they got all the notoriety from the club. So I was really not cheesed off, but I thought that could have been us. We could have got the notoriety. But do you know what? I'm still proud. I'm still proud that we played for Spurs ladies, and myself and my friend Brenda McKenzie, she was our striker, big Jamaican girl. She was massive. She was, I'm telling you, I was about 5'4" at the time, and I grew to 5'6". But she was like, wow, I reckon, I'm not 100% sure, but she must have been nigh on 6 foot, maybe even 6'1", 6'2", because she towered over me. And she played in our netball team as well, because we played netball as well, because that's what girls do, right? And I remember she didn't even have to jump. She just go poof, and it went in. So she was our striker. I was the centre because I was very nippy, you know, in and out, in and out. And it helped me with my football career as well, playing netball, because with netball, you've got to be more disciplined, right? You've got to hold the ball and then stop, right? Whereas with football, you're on the move, but you sort of see quickly where you're going to pass it, and it's really good for your vision, right? I mean, my football playing career, everybody, I've said this before, if anybody hasn't heard me say it, that I was a cam, central attacking midfielder, and I had very good vision. I likened myself to Luka Modric because I was small, right, and very petite. I was like about probably 8.5, 9 stone at the time. And when you're training, we did training 3 times a week. As I got older, when I got to 16, I went 3 times a week doing circuit training, running to the line, coming back, running to the second line, coming back, and then weaving in and out of the cones, weaving in and out, and then doing where they put the steps and you step inside and you go up, right? And then we've done so much training to keep us fit. But you know what? The training nowadays, it is more intense because the game is a lot tougher for the girls because first of all, they're playing 90 minutes. And second of all, they're like, you know, they have to be super fit because 90 minutes, and then you've got the extra time as well. So it's like mirrored the men's game in a lot of ways, you know, and the fitness of the ladies. You see them when I see them at Brisbane Road at White Lane where we play, right? I mean, White Lane, we don't play so much, but Brisbane Road, last season and the season before, no, the season before we were playing at Barnet, but last season we played at Brisbane Road. And I'm telling you, those girls are super fit, you know, and they've got the skills, you know. Anyway, enough about me. I'm going to catch up with the chat because I'm not going to fall behind the chat this time because last time I did. Right, so let me just drag this up. Right, here we go. So Mark Cousins is saying, big up just. Peter Kahigios. I think, you know what, I should be able to pronounce it, but tell me how it's pronounced. Send me a voice message. Right, hi all, 7:10 p.m. in Melbourne. Just a harmless potato. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening, Peter. Big up. Rob Belcher is saying, good morning all, and especially our number one lady, Her Royal Highness, Ellie. Yeah, well, you don't have to call me Her Royal Highness, honestly. I use that Queen Ellie Hoybier because the Irish Hotspur called me it with Jack Kanicki because we all loved Pierre-Emile Hoybier, and he's got me into deep shit. You know, that player, you know, because I'm always defending him. Maybe I'm over defending him, but I do like him. Do you know there's Dick Henry? Oh, you are awful, but I like you. I love that. I'm going to put that on when I'm talking about Pierre-Emile Hoybier because it will lighten the mood, you know, because sometimes I get a bit intense. I really do. Right, so I don't want that. I just want this one. Right. Hey, potato, just getting ready for school. Oh, lovely. What school do you go to? Oh, you might be a teacher then, I presume. Is that correct? Let me know. No, work. Right. Peter, lol. Then Peter was also saying, here in Australia in the 60s and 70s, they called it woggle. Oh, I don't want to say that. That's a bit of a rude word. Right, Drew, la, my niece. Morning, RTL, and morning chat. I tried to phone you to get you on. If you want to come on, Drula, I can send you the link. Let me know. All right? Because I'm going to cover Spurs' history very, very soon. Once I get through this chat, because the chat is important. It's the most important. So Drew la is the lol. Yes. You know what? Me and Andrula, we're like peas in a pod. We look like each other. Well, she's a bit younger and more beautiful, right? We talk like each other. We sound like each other. We love Spurs. We're just like one person in it, 2 people in one, you know. But she's such a lovely girl, you know. She's such a lovely girl. Right, so David Shea, whoa, wagwan, David Shea, haha, Ellie, love you, and poor Theo. You know what? He's off to Benidorm. He's on a flight on the lads' holiday because my daughter Sophia, she's getting married in September in Cyprus, and we're going to have a big do over here for the people that couldn't make it, because obviously you don't just do it in Cyprus and then forget the family couldn't go. You know, for many reasons people can't go, you know. So what we're going to do is going to have a big fat Greek wedding. Oh my God, it's going to be so cool. I'm looking forward to it. I'm trying to lose weight as well. I've lost 1.5 stone so far. I've got another 2 stone to shift by the end of September. Let's see if I can do it. Watch this space. Then I'll stand up. But look, I've got Sonny on my shirt, right? And this is the Korean Jesus. Whoa, of course he is. Right, that's a nice one. And then why is that coming up? I don't want the chat to come up. Aha, Ellie, love you and poor Theo. I've done that one. I have to start starring these because I'll lose my way. Sick note, Ellie. Yes, that's true. I'm not always sick note, you know, because I have got a lot of injuries, right? So you have to forgive me, you know. The injuries are still hurting me to this day. Right, Peter saying, Dave, nice one. David Shear, Ellie has a fucking heart of gold. God bless you. You know what? Hearts of gold, right? Yeah, maybe I have, but sometimes I do get upset and maybe I'll go over the top. So I do apologise. Sometimes I do. And sometimes it's because I'm under stress. Sometimes it's because I'm tired. I don't sleep. I'm a bit of an insomniac. And when you don't sleep, you can lose your rag. And I do apologise. If I've upset anybody, you know, I didn't mean it, right? Sometimes I say things to my husband that I don't really mean, and he says things to me that he doesn't really mean. But we get on with life, you know what I mean? You've got to draw a line under those like little arguments and big arguments you have, you know. And sometimes you can do selective hearing. So David Shear saying, good day, Peter Cobber. Drula saying, come on, come up. Peter, yes, it's Thea. Yeah, Thea. That's auntie in Greek, by the way. We're giving Greek lessons here. You know what I mean? Danny Kyriakou, join me. Come on. Smash the likes, bless Ellie. Yeah, come on, smash the likes. Let me put that banner up, actually, because I done a banner. Right, let me just get it up, because I want to put it up. Right, where is it? There it is. Right, see? No excuses now, people. Yeah, and Colin's channel, Talking Ball. Share the link, like and subscribe, you know, because it all helps. At the end of the day, you know, we're all here to help one another. If you share the link with your friends and your Spurs mates and your football mates, they'll join us. And it puts the algorithm out there, you know, and lots of more people will join us. So David Shear saying, hi, Adrula, please no wetting yourself, Cobbett. Yeah, because you make her laugh, David. That's why. And David Shear's also saying, Rob the gentleman Belcher. Good day, Cobber. Good day, Cobber. I should have put my Australia hat, but of course, because I'm doing the Spurs one, everybody's seen this, I hope. So I've got Glenn Hoddle, the great Glenn Hoddle. I think it's in this. Is it in this corner? Yeah, there's Glenn Hoddle's signature, and he actually touched his hat. Oh my God, you know. And he said, "Hello, love." Yeah, and he said, "What's your name?" And I said, "Ellie." And he goes, "Hello, Ellie." He tapped me on my head, you know. I mean, the great Glenn Hoddle. You know, my heart was pounding, boom, 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 when I was sitting next to him, and he put his arm around me. Oh, you know, and I've got to ask him a question as well, like at the Le Royal Banqueting Suite. Oh my God, because everybody knows Glenn Hoddle's my ultimate footballer that I actually admire with all my heart. He's the most brilliant footballer that I've ever seen, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at him, right? And then I go to sit down and I'm with the Irish Hotspur and Jack Kanicki, and I want to ask him a question, sorry. And I'm so nervous like I am now on this stream. Sometimes I get a bit nervous. Sometimes I have to calm down, Ellie, calm down. Right, so I'm there and I'm thinking, what question I'm going to ask him? What question? The man comes over his mic, quick as a dog, puts it in my mouth and says, this lady, this ex-Spurs lady wants to ask our Glenn Hoddle a question. So I'm thinking, yes, I know what question. It sort of sparks into my mind. I goes, Glenn, right, the great Johan Cruyff. He said before the match versus final that we won 4-2, Glenn, as you recall, Tony Galvin sitting next to you, scored 2 goals. And I goes to him, the great Johan Cruyff said, who is this Glenn Hoddle? Who is this Glenn Hoddle? And then after the match, he goes, now I know who Glenn Hoddle is, right? Because he played a worldie. I mean, I think it's one of the best matches that I've ever seen Glenn Hoddle. He was cooking. Like, you know, when you cook, but you're cooking, right? Honestly, he set up 2 goals. I think, oh, he was just brilliant. I just remember the match very vividly, but everything he did was sublime. And it was like out of this world. And like Johan Cruyff playing for Feyenoord, and like we beat them 4-2. And I'm just like, I couldn't believe it. I'm seeing Johan Cruyff and Glenn Hoddle on the same pitch. It's like a girl's dream come true, yet alone a boy's dream come true. You know, it's like amazing, amazing. I just couldn't get over it, honestly. I was like, I went to bed that night and I just dreamt of Glenn Hoddle, not in a sexual way, people, because I wasn't like that at that age. Right, plus I didn't fancy him. I just think he was a fantastic footballer. Same with Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. I don't think he's a fantastic footballer. I'll put it out there now. He's not a fantastic footballer. I like that style of footballer. I like the footballer who rolls up his sleeves, gets everybody going. And in the first 2 seasons, he did. It's just, he doesn't suit Angie's style. So we've got to move on. We're not going to talk about Højbjerg. He always gets me into trouble anyway. He's a little troublemaker. Right, well, he did score day before. And Ericsson set him up, and then Ericsson scored the winner. Go on, Denmark. I love Denmark as well. I love a nice Danish pastry as well, but I've got to stay off them. Please, don't give me a Danish pastry, all right? Because I'm trying to lose 2 more stone. If I do it, I do it. If I don't, you know, I'm going to be the fattest lady at the wedding probably. Who cares? I'm there to enjoy my daughter's wedding and have a bit of cake, do a bit of Greek dancing, smash a few plates, whatever it takes us, we're going to do at that big Greek fat wedding. Right, so David Shear saying, smash the lights, bless Ellie. Oh, you're such a lovely man, David. Hiya, Driller, please no wetting your cobber. Oh, I've done those ones. Right, let's move on. Now, who else we're going to move? Yeah. Right, so just a harmless potato saying, David Shear, good day, mate. Drew la la, hello. Drew la la. Right, David Shear saying, Ellie wants us free on the channel, heaven forbid. Yeah, I know. You know what I mean? I want to do this Spurs history very soon, right? So obviously David Shear, Hoddle and Mr. Steve Perryman, legends. They were fantastic and they worked so good together. They were brilliant. And like Steve Perryman was basically told by Bill Nicholson, when you get the ball, give it to Glenn. You get it, you win it, give it to Glenn. And it paid off for us. Like by the time 78, 79 season started, when we had Ozzy and Ricky signed up from the World Cup. Oh my God, I've got to talk about that later though, because we still got people in the chat. Drew Lala saying, hello, just a harmless potato. How are you? Right. And Peter saying, Gezayas. You know what? I don't even like Gezayas. Now, that's probably proper Greek. I'm Cypriot Greek, you know what I mean? Højbjerg tied up in the corner. Yeah, he is. He's just over there, David Shear. He's just over there. And I've just given him some breakfast. I gave him a Danish pastry and a Danish sausage. There you go. Don't tell the husband. Peter Cahages, paramedic. Yeah, I do need one. I'm telling you. Johnny Bethnal Green, welcome. I think I've seen you before. I must have seen you in LTEL or Talk on Ball. One of the two. Sorry. Morning, Saucy. Good day, David. Mark Cousins, welcome, Mark. I love Mark. I love bumping into him at the Spurs ground. As you know, Mark, we always bump into each other. I hope you're going to go to some matches next season as well. History, I'm grumpy old fart. Get me on. I will get you on. Let me send you the link. All right, because I put it in my notes because I can't put WhatsApp on here because this is it's Angela's proper second computer for her work, so I can't do it because it's like all secret. You know, I can't do it. Just put it as secret agency Angela, or Bangela as she's known. So David Shear saying we called it that over in the West too. Pete didn't make it right at all. Okay. Well, what did you call in the West too? I don't get it. Let me know, because I want to know. Right. Right. Who's next? Next. David Shear, crusty curtains, wide. I'm getting confused now, David, because you're putting in these things and I'm thinking, have I missed some chat? Right, I've got Marcus. Marcus, welcome. My parents are currently on holiday in Brodara. See, that's how you pronounce it, not Proterus, Brodara, Cyprus. Oh, lovely. I love Brodara. I went there quite a few times. I like Fig Tree Bay. I like Ayia Napa as well. And I do like where Sophie's going to get married in Buffos. Yeah, it's not Paphos, it's Buffos. And Ange Postecoglou, it's not Postecoglou, it's Bosticoglu, because he's our boss. Right, now, right, Destiny 5's waving his hand. And that's it, I think. No, Julie's saying David Aquabra had to Google it. Who's David Aquabra? Who is he? Right. You know what? I must have missed lots of chat. You know what? I'm getting used to this, right? But I'm not the best, so I have to recoup. Yeah, people, we love all comers, cob, right? And then something unique about us Aussies, lol. Yeah, you are unique. All all Aussies. I love you. You're so lovely, Drula. You doing Jez quiz tomorrow night? She probably is. Yeah. You know what? I might join that. I've not joined it so far. Yes, buddy, we normally do, don't we? Lol, lol. What do you do? Like, I'm missing a load of chat. I know what I did. It's because I moved the cursor and it moved down. What an idiot. Let me just go up. You know, it's all Greek to me. Ah, here we go. Got lots of people here. Right. So we've got Noel Kane, the man from Montrose. That's who you are. Noel Kane. Morning, Lily. Hope you're well. I think you're a Man United fan, aren't you, Noel? But you like Spurs because you join us. Right. So Noel Kane saying, like, subscribe and share. That's true. You know, when you share it to your social media hooks as well, because that helps out Jose, because he wants to grow his channel. He's on 420 something, I think, at the moment. So let's get him up to 500 very quickly. David Shear, Ellie, I am joking. Of course, I know you're joking, David. You know, insomniacs for all, yes. We're up we're up all night, insomniacs. We don't sleep. That's like, look at the bags. You know what I'm going to do? Put my glasses on so you can't see my bags. I'm a bit vain like that. There we go. What do you think? These are Chanel's. They're Angela's, but then she's given them to me, right? They're not on loan. She's actually given them to me, right? And now, harmless potato, just a harmless potato. Ooh la la, I'm good. Talking on the phone, running, multitasking. How are you? You know what? Just a harmless potato. If you're a fella and you're multitasking, you're kudos to me. You know what? Because my husband can only cope with one thing at a time, which is a bit of a problem. You know, when I want 2 or 3 things done, it's impossible. I can't get it out of him. Right. So now, enough chatter. I've covered most of the chat. Right. I'll catch up with the rest of you in a minute. I won't ignore you or anything like that. I will catch up, but I have to get down to the nitty gritty, and I need to send Mark the link. Just bear with me while I send Mark the link. Right, hold on a moment. Here we go. If anybody else wants to join, I'll put the link in the chat. Right, hold on. Let me just copy that. And then, you know, when you don't have technology like all the rest of you, right, let's put Mark's name in here and I'll get you on, Mark. You know, I like my little Mark Hussons. He's a lovely fella. There we go. There you go, Mark. You've got the link now. You've got no excuse. You've got to join me. Right, so let's go back to the banners, right? And we're going to start with, right, my Spurs story. No. Right, let's go down here. And what we're starting with, Spurs honours. Okay. Well, let's take the glasses off because I've got to be serious. Right, Spurs honours. You know, Spurs are a glorious team. We are. I mean, we're a glorious club. We formed in 1882, as everybody knows. If you don't know, get to know, because you should know. There's my new saying. If you don't know, get to know, you should know, right? Because 1882, we started off as a cricket club, a boys' cricket club in the county of Middlesex, which is part of North London. So Arsenal fans, you've got to be quiet because we were in North London. And if you don't think so, we don't care, right? So these boys formed the football team as well, and they became the Hotspur Football Club. And then from there, we just went from strength to strength, playing in the football league. We was in the old. It's called the old second division now, isn't it? Right. And I remember there's one particular period of our history that I have to mention when we gave our ground to the Arsenal. They were called Dial Square, their first name, or Square Dial. No, Dial Square, right? And we gave our ground in 1919 for them to use because their ground was, I don't know if it was bombed or I can't remember. So I don't really like to read about Arsenal history, but what I do know is we gave our ground for 2 years and they put a bit of blue in their badge and a little bit of white, a little bit of curve of white, because we were blue and white at the time, right? And I think it was fantastic of Arsenal to do that, to say thank you. So we can't criticise them for that. But what we can criticise them for is what Adrian Schroeder talks about a lot, and that is basically doing the dirty on us, allegedly. Their chairman, can't remember his name, but it doesn't matter because he's Arsenal. He went round lobbying all the teams, because I think they finished 5th or 6th, if I remember rightly, and we finished bottom. So here we go. I'm going to bring Mark in. Hello, Mark.
Ellie, how are you?
Yes, I can see your chin.
No, I'm on my phone, Ellie. My computer's having a nightmare.
That's all right. But lower your phone so we can see all your face. That's it.
Oh, there we go.
You don't want to do a Steve Perriman and go like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's funny, Steve Perriman, on his podcast. How are you, Mark? How you doing? What you been up to?
Not a lot, really. I've been a bit rough.
You've been a bit rough? Like me then?
I was going to say there's bits of me now just like stop working and like I'm falling to bits, basically.
Same here, mate.
Yeah.
My legs have gone. Football's done me in. It's sort of a knock-on effect in my 60s. Well, it really hit me earlier on, but now I've got to 60, 61, 62 in November. Everything's gone down south.
Yeah, oh Christ, yeah. Oh,
you know what I mean?
What am I like? 9 years you got on me, and I'm just falling to bits.
Do you know what? We need those, the patch-up dolls that they put all together. We need somebody to patch us up.
Oh Christ, yeah. Well, with me, they just will chuck me away and start again.
Yeah, I want to ask you about your Spurs younger years as well, because I like.
Oh my God!
Us fans, we're fantastic Spurs fans, and we are a unique club. Like Adrian Schroeder said yesterday on our 2.5-hour stream with Brian Daigle and Chang. I want to know what you think. What you remember mostly about Spurs growing up?
Oh, well, I'm the same as you, Ellie. When I went to school, like everyone supported Liverpool because, like in the sort of late 70s, like Liverpool winning everything, like nearly every year they won the league. Like especially at my junior school, I was the only Spurs fan.
Right.
There was me and my teacher. My teacher was a Spurs fan as well.
Do you remember her or his name?
Mr. Cox.
Mr. Cox. That's an appropriate name for a Spurs supporter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lovely.
And it was only when I got to secondary school that, like, you know, that there was a couple other Spurs fans, but there weren't too many. But like when I was having a kickabout and out with my mates, I was always Glenn Hoddle, always.
Wow.
Without a shadow of a doubt, always. Everyone else was like Kenny Dalglish or someone like that, and I was always Glenn Hoddle, always. He was like he was like the king, wasn't he? He was the king.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Glenn Hoddle. What can you say about Glenn Hoddle? There's everything to say about Glenn Hoddle. He was a supreme footballer and a supreme athlete as well. Like, if he played in today's game, Mark, do you think he could have done just as good?
Oh, he would do better. He would do better, especially with the protection they get now. You got to remember that. But back then they were like kicking lumps out of each other.
Yeah, I remember Tommy Smith. I remember one Tommy Smith of Liverpool. Bloody hell. And then Norman Hunter, because there was when Leeds played in the final, they had a banner up, Norman bites your legs.
Yeah. He
didn't just bite them though, he just kicked lumps out of you.
Yeah. I mean, you got to remember as well the pitches back then. I mean, I can remember going to like the Old Boy Art Lane. You never used to see any grass; it was all sand and mud.
Yeah.
It was just, there was sand everywhere.
I know. I was just talking about Hackney Marshes where Spurs ladies used to play over.
Yeah.
And like, I hated it. I thought, oh no, we've got to go to Hackney Marshes. So my dad took me over there, then goes to work because he can't stay because he's going to work. And he drops me off and I'm picking up poo.
Yeah. Well, see, it's not, it wasn't like, I mean, back then, like when we was out playing, when we was kids and that, you'd forever see like lumps of dog mess, and it was just everywhere. Yeah, because it wasn't like it is now, where you got to carry carrier bags and that around, where you'd pick it up.
I know, it was awful.
Yeah,
I used to take a doggy bag with me because, like, before I used to get the poo and put it in one area, and I was so OCD in those years. I used to put it all in one go, right, and then put it away from the pitch so that we wouldn't have to fall in it. If you fall in it, if you fall in it and you go in your face, you've got all shit all over your face.
Yeah.
And then we used to get abused as well, because we're girls playing football. They used to shout all sorts of abuse at us. What are you doing on the pitch?
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can imagine that back then. It was a different world, wasn't it? It was a different world back then.
But now, like, the lady footballers are lauded. They're like, they're on football adverts. They're on FIFA. They're doing the Euros. You know, the adverts going, and then they appear on major adverts with the footballers, and they're getting a good lira as well.
Yeah. How many watched when England won? Was it Euros they won a few years ago?
What in total? There was
no. There was a couple of years ago, wasn't there? When,
at the final, there was, I think it was 88,000 at the final, and then when just recently Spurs ladies played Manchester United ladies in the FA Cup, 76,795 people turned up, and those Spurs fans were fabulous. So I was with Ben Kaufman, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was brilliant with Ben Kaufman. He's fantastic. Right, it's a pleasure just going with him. He's a lad, isn't he?
Well, to be honest, every time, because to be honest, I can get tickets. I can get tickets for Tottenham like quite regularly, like through like the supporters club around there, and like for me, the thing that puts me off is I got like 8 or 9 hours on a bus to get there and back.
Yeah.
It's a long old day. Because
too long.
Like, if it's a 3 o'clock kickoff, I got to leave my house at like 6. I don't go home till like 9, 10 o'clock at night. It's a bloody long day. Oh, she's gone. Yeah, well, it is. It's especially the way the bus goes.
I just have to shout up to my daughter, Angela. The door's knocking. Me. Hold on, Mark. Carry on talking. I have to answer the door.
No, that's all right. You carry on, Ellie. I can't see the chat or anything, so I'm on my phone. So, hang on. Or can I? Hang on. chat. No. Yes. No, I can't see anything. Let's get rid of that then. Well, so if she started the history, I don't know. My bloody computer's not working. Damn thing. I don't know. It's updating WhatsApp for some reason. I don't know what's going on here, and it's not doing it. So I'm stuck on my phone at the moment, so I do apologise. I can't see anything, do anything. And so it's like I said, I'm not even sure if she's done the started the history bit yet. Oh, it was on to me, wasn't it? About my when I was a kid. Yeah, my first memory really is probably losing 7-0 at Anfield, 1978 or 9, because everyone took the mick out of me at school for like months. No, that's a lie, really. I can remember when we was relegated.
Sorry, Mark, about that.
No,
They come to fix a fire alarm. This say connected, yeah. But I told them come back later because they were supposed to come back later, not now. But they've got 2 jobs, so they come to me first. Anyway, what we was talking about, just carry on and I'll come in.
Yeah, well, you was asking me about my first memories. I can remember the season. Well, my dad first took me to White Hart Lane probably when I was about 3, 4.
Wow.
3 or 4, something like that. And I can definitely remember the season that we were relegated.
Right, yeah.
Now that would have been what, 76?
76, 77
yeah.
season, isn't it?
Because the last home game when we did get relegated, many years later, I said to my dad, I said, what were we doing on the pitch that day at Tottenham? I said, did we win something? He said, no, that was the day we got relegated.
Oh, no. It was like we won something, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the pitch.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, yeah, I was on there somewhere. Like, you know. And,
I was 14. You must have been about, you're 9 years younger.
I'd have been 6 or that, 5 or 6. Yeah.
See, I remember it vividly because I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Right? And I was crying. I was crying my eyes out. And I don't know if the cameras, do you know what? I'd love to get the footage of that because it was me and my brothers. I've got 7 brothers.
Yeah.
And we stand out. We're bloody loud. We're a noisy family.
Yeah.
Well, I'm probably the quietest one in the family, if you know what I mean.
Bloody, are you? Seriously?
Really? Julia will vouch for it. I've got 7 brothers who are all louder than me.
You are the quietest one.
Yeah, and you can't get in a word in edgeways. You just sit there and because there's a hierarchy in my family as well. Because the 2 eldest brothers, Louis and Paul. Louis, my eldest brother, he's Julia's dad, right? And then I've got my brother Paul, very sadly passed away. But they're at the head of the table, right? And then there's John and Aggie, Satirius, his real name, right? Yeah. We call him Aggie. They're like the second tier of the family. And we're the bottom tier, me and Boo, and all the kids, they're not even on that table. They're on the next table.
Seriously?
Seriously, right? And you don't get a word in edgeways, and they're talking about politics. They're talking about girls. Then when they get onto football, then we're allowed to join the chat. That's how it was. Yeah. So you just didn't speak unless you're spoken to, right? And we sort of fought our way as you got older. When I remember being 16 and having a little bit more of a voice, because you get your personality, don't you?
Yeah.
Have you got any brothers or sisters, Mark?
I did have a sister, but unfortunately she died.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, that was about that would have been
very sad.
That would have been 9-10 years ago. She died. She was only just over early 40s.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
I know how that feels because I lost 2 of my brothers. I lost my brother George as well to cancer, and Paul died of cancer as well. Yeah. The thing is, it was weird because George had a little bit of he was a little bit autistic, but in those days, not a little bit autistic, a lot autistic, right? And in those days, they didn't really diagnose it.
No.
What it was.
No.
You know, they don't put it in a box either. They sort of categorize it. They say learning difficulties.
Yeah. It's hard to say things. It's hard for me to say anything without sounding a bit disrespectful. But like back then, if you had like things like that, like autism, you were just classified as stupid.
Yeah, they did.
You know what I mean?
Right. They did at school, right?
Yeah. That's what I was on about, like the school environment.
What my brother did to overcome that, he done the shot put, and he was shot putting for Haringey, and he was training. Yeah, he was training with the great Jeff Capes, my brother George, right?
I remember him. Yeah, he was like gold. He was gold medalist.
He was massive.
Yeah,
I remember going with the head teacher, Mrs. Pickering, and I remember going and seeing my brother, and he was doing the swivel, and then he would do the shot put. Right, and I thought I was so proud of my brother doing it with Jeff Capes, and like you see him on telly, and you think, what's he doing here? And he's training my brother because my brother's got really good potential in it. You know, in his category, in his age group, he was the best in Haringey. Yeah.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, brilliant. My brother George, and then Drew Lala's dad. He was a fantastic cricketer. And he played for Middlesex County. So I remember, right, getting my brother's Middlesex County top. And I've still got a photograph of me in it because it was a hand-me-down. Because we weren't a rich family, but my mum and dad worked their socks off to give us clothes. But I remember my brother giving me that. And I was so proud wearing it. Like, I had the Middlesex colours on. Yeah. And dressed and everything. Yeah. That was that's Drew Lala's dad. He was a fantastic cricketer. Yeah.
Well, when I was at secondary school, I went to the same secondary school as Ian Botham.
Wow. Yeah, there's the name.
He used to I'm not sure. I don't think he was born in my time, but he certainly lived in my time.
Yeah.
And I can remember I would have been about 6 or 7. I was on the bus coming back from town one day. And I was on the bus with my great gran when she was alive. And she was talking to some woman. And like when we got off, she said that was Ian Botham's mum. Like she's
brilliant.
Like she used to know her really well.
Yeah. It's like Brian Daigle's dad. He knows the Winks family very well.
Oh, yeah. What, like Harry?
Brian Daigle invited me to his house, and I was so chuffed because, like the great Brian Daigle, we're not worthy, worthy, you know? And like I'm Levy Out, as everybody knows. I was Levy Out before I met Brian Daigle. He didn't recruit me, contrary to belief.
Yeah.
I've always thought that he's, you know, we're not going to go there because this is not a stream about him. We're not going to give him airtime.
No.
Right. So, I went to his house and it was lovely. I met his dad, and I didn't meet his mum that day, but I would have loved to have met his mum. And we went out for a meal. We walked back, and Brian was telling me some lovely things about himself and his wife. It was such a lovely day. I gave him a Spurs retro shirt as a thank you.
Yeah.
You know, the 1980s one with the retro, the lines across. Gave him that. Just to say thank you to him for being such a brilliant guy in our community.
Yeah. I know this isn't about Levy, but like,
is that a swear word?
Yeah. I can remember the days in football. Like when I first started following football, I didn't have a clue who the chairman of Tottenham was. I didn't have the foggiest who the chairman was. You just cared about what was going on the pitch.
No, you found out later, innit?
Yeah,
like Irving Scholar.
Yeah. Well, that's what it would have been, I expect. Yeah,
and
it would have been
that, Sidney Well. I remember Sidney Well because my dad, he used to call him Sidney Wells, but he didn't come from Wales. He said his name wrong. right? Because he always thought he was Sydney Wales, but they were always in the background, weren't they?
Well, to be honest, it was probably Irving Scholar. Is the first one I can remember, but even then, they were just.
When you say Irving Scholar, I've got a story. Because he's such a man that sort of took us nearly to bankruptcy.
Yeah. Was he the one that floated us on the stock market and it all went like Pete Tong?
Yeah, we went Pete Tong, and then we were trying to recover.
And Sugar had to come in and bail us out.
Yeah. Luckily for us that he bailed us out, and he was a massive Spurs fan.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know what? It's rich men, isn't it? Like their toy. It's like their toy.
Yeah.
Like Danny Blanchfire said, he alluded to it. He goes, football's being spoilt by rich men, even back then. You know, and he was a troublemaker as well, Danny Blanchflower.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can remember, like, when my dad used to take me in that, like, back in the 70s, like, you could pay and just, you could sort of rock up at the ground and just pay to go in.
Yeah, it's like 25p the first time I remember.
What?
Was it less? No, my dad used to pay for me. And then when I went with my brother, it was 25p. So before that, it was less. I think it was 10p to get in.
To be honest.
I remember rightly.
To be honest, like, I mean, I can remember going to Tottenham, and because I was only like 4 or 5, like, my old man had paid to get in. Yeah. And they'd see me and they'd say, take him in with you. You know what I mean? There was none of this, where's your ticket? You're not coming in, and all, you know, there was none of that. It was just, go on in, you know?
Yeah. And then there's this. I love the banners. Hold on, I've got to move this banner, haven't I? I've got to remove it so you can see. That's better. Like that, I'm going to make it fun for us as well. There we go. You know what I mean? Because I was going to bring it back to the history, right? Because I'm putting that up, back to Woolwich, because when they got promoted, they did it very underhand back in that 1921 season, I believe.
Yeah.
Remember rightly. It was 1920, and then they got promoted, right?
And we didn't.
We stayed behind.
Yeah.
Right? Because we were a very well-run club, even though we finished bottom. You had to put up for election to stay in the league. So we stayed in the second division. They went into the first division. And my brother Boo, he says they took our thunder because then they moved into North London. How dare they? Wasn't
Summit back in the 1920s? Wasn't it something to do with their executive chairman or something was on the board of the FA, and they had the votes, and they had and most of the people that voted were members of Arsenal Football Club. Yeah,
and what they did, they lobbied the other ones to make sure that they get elected over the second, third, fourth, fifth, because it was the top 6 that went through election, if I'm right. Adrian Stroker put me right if I'm wrong, right? Because he's a proper. I know my history, but there's certain little things that I forget.
Yeah,
because of the insomnia. The insomnia's kicking in.
Yeah.
But what
I can't remember what happened yesterday. Honestly, I cannot remember what happened yesterday, let alone like.
You know what I mean? But my brother Boo is a really brilliant historian like Adrian. And he told me that because they moved into North London, they took our patch, right? And they basically got all the fans on their side because they were in the first division. So all the fans of West Ham, Chelsea, all those ones that were thinking what club they're going to support, they went over to Arsenal. Now, if we got elected, because we were a much more better run club than them, we would have been the top cream in North London, and a lot of fans would have supported us.
Yeah.
We got left behind, and then our finances dwindled, and theirs grew. And then by the 1930s, they reaped everything, Arsenal. So that would have been
I see. Yeah, because
that would have been us.
Because we won the cup in 21, is that right? We won the FA Cup in 21, and then we didn't win another thing until 51.
We also won it in 1901, and we were the only side to win it.
Yeah, but we won it in 21, and then we never won a damn thing till 1951, did we? It was like 30 years or something. We never won nothing.
That's right, because Arsenal was stealing our thunder.
Yeah, that's obviously that obviously fits in with your point about like Arsenal.
Yeah. Right, so like, I'm going to bring up the next banner. Spurs glory years from winning the only we're winning the only non-league club to have ever won the FA Cup. Woo! That's a Phil P.
Yeah,
great feat, hey? Champions of most FA Cup victories up to 1991.
Yeah.
You know, and I was at that final with my brother Boo, and when Gazza did that kick into Ian Wone's midriff, my brother goes to me. Gazza's on one today, El. He goes, I remember it vividly. And then when we scored the winner, right? I mean, Des Walker scored our winner. My brother got my head, and literally I've got brain damage from it. It was shaking my head. I was saying, "Boom, let my head go." He's going like that because my brother's very passionate, right? But
that explains a lot, Ellie. If he was shaking your head,
do you know what I mean? I'm mental.
No. If you want to talk about 1991, no, this is obviously like I'd only just come out of hospital.
Especially in your memory because you're old enough.
Yeah. Well, I'd only just come out of hospital then.
Yes.
That was the year. That was the year I was diagnosed with diabetes and that.
Yeah.
And I was in hospital for it was about March, April.
That's not a nice thing. My mum had diabetes, so I know what you were going through.
I was out of hospital by the time we played Arsenal in the semi-final.
Oh,
and so by the time the final came, I can always remember, because I just come out of hospital, they just said, "Oh, you got to start injecting yourself 4 times a day for the rest of your life," and all that nonsense. I was God above. And to be honest, right. Even though they tell you, it's easy when you're in hospital and they sort of tell you what to do. And when you're coming out and you've got to do it yourself, you think, what the bloody hell's going on here?
Did they mention any dietary? Change your diet and that? Yeah. I mean, did they give you a diet sheet, for example, to follow?
Yes and no. I mean, they sort of said, look, well, basically what they said to me was, you need this insulin now to keep you alive, basically.
Yeah.
Right? And it's in your best interest to keep your sugar levels like as level as you can.
Yeah.
They are going to go up and down. That they do. But they said it's in your best interest to keep them level.
Yeah.
Right? And if you can
I get that.
And if you can avoid, well, all they said to me was, avoid eating anything that's like full of sugar, which is why I don't eat cake, chocolate. I have an ice cream in the summer. It's nearly coming up to my yearly ice cream.
So you don't eat any cake at all?
No, I haven't I'll be honest with you, Ellie. In the 33 years now, anything sweet makes me feel sick.
Yeah, I suppose
because I'm not used to eating it. The only thing that I will eat is Mr. Whippy ice cream.
I love
that. But
do you like it in an oyster or do you like it in a cone?
In a cone.
Yeah. I like it with the 99s.
Well, no.
No. You couldn't do. But you could have strawberry sauce and nuts on it if you wanted. You know, they put those crushed nuts.
But to be honest, when you've gone 30 odd years without eating anything sweet, then if I have anything apart from Mr. Whippy ice cream, I might have one in the summer. but anyway, going back to 91, you got to remember, in the final especially, here's me sat here. I'm watching it, and like Gary Mabbott goes up the stairs to get the FA Cup, right, and now, right, and as he's walking up the steps, the footage is available. Well, I watched it about a year or two ago, And in the BBC commentary, as he's going up the steps, he goes round the corner, and they say, "Oh, Gary Mabbutt, he's battled diabetes all his life because he's the same as me. He's type 1 like me."
I know.
And immediately he became my hero. Immediately.
I know. Oh my God, Gary Mabbutt, what a brilliant captain, and what a fantastic footballer, ambassador at our club. You know, I'm an ambassador of the Spurs ladies, right? And I met him at Brisbane Road, and I met him at Wembley when we were playing at Wembley. And he's such a lovely man to talk to. He's got a warm aura about him, and you know, because you've met him many times, haven't you?
I met him about 5 months ago, 6 months ago.
It's lovely.
He was at Taunton doing Somerset Spurs. Got him down to do a talk.
What a man.
Hang on, I'll get the photo. 1 minute.
Yeah, get the photo. Come on, we want to see this photo.
It's here. Oh, it's only behind me.
Do you know, oh my God, I've seen the photo where you've posted it, but when you see the actual framed photo, it's even lovelier. You see, like, his stature, he's tall. When he was playing, his playing weight was very good. He looked after himself. He's diabetic, and you're getting through all those struggles and being an athlete and a sportsman. You know, because to be a footballer, you needed to be an athlete. Because in the 1990s, it was hard.
Right.
Well, 1980s, not late. When did he join Spurs? In 1984, was it? Let me have a look.
Yeah, it was something like that. I was going to say I would Google it, but my computer's refusing to work.
Yeah, I'm going to send the link to Adrian as well. Let me send the link to Adrian to get him in. I'll send it to Andrula, see if she'll come in.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
And he told me stories back in the, I've met him twice now. And when he came to Taunton to do that talk, he said when he got diagnosed, it was probably, when was I? I was 91. He would have been late 70s, early 80s. He got diagnosed, and he was told that there's no way he would be a professional footballer. Wow. No way on this planet. And he said, and so his family got in contact with the top diabetic man in the country, and he said, "I'll support you."
That's so good.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know, Gary Mabbutt, he's an extraordinary man, yet alone an extraordinary footballer. You know.
I'll just say one thing, right? From a personal point of view, the things he does for people with diabetes goes unrecognized, because if it wasn't for him, see, I got this thing on my arm now. Hang on, there we go. Can you see it?
Yeah.
That thing on my arm.
Yeah.
It's monitors me glucose all the time in my blood.
That's so good.
Right. I only got that because he campaigned the government for him.
Right. See?
Because
what a great
they are a fairly new technology. All right, they've been about for a few years, but when they first come out, it was only people that paid for them.
Yeah.
If you wanted them, you had to pay for them, and they were quite expensive. And Gary Mabbutt petitioned. He's like something to do with Diabetes UK. He's to do with Diabetes UK, and he petitioned the government to get everyone to get them. So now now everyone's gone.
Right, well, welcome to David Shear. Come on, good day, coppers and cobbets. How you doing, David? Right, you're on mute. That's better. Can you hear us?
Cobber,
can you hear us?
No.
You can't hear us. Right, you're on mute. That's better.
G'day. How are you?
Good day.
How you going, Cobber?
No.
Oh my God. I've got royalty in the house from Australia.
Hello. G'day. How are you?
We're all right.
No, there's a load of feet. There's a load of feedback.
Hello. G'day. How are you?
All right.
No, it's a load of beats.
It's a bit weird. There's an echo. I wonder how I can get rid of that.
How's that? Is that better?
That's better.
Here we go. You had YouTube going on in the background.
Yeah, like we could hear our voices echoing back. We were just talking about Gary Mabbutt, David Shear. David, I should say. What am I saying Shear for? Where you gone? That's better. Right. We were just talking about Gary Mabbutt. What are your recollections of Gary Mabbutt? I think he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe come back in, go out and come back in. We've got Adrian joining us. Adrian!
Adrian.
Woohoo! All right, Adrian Schrocker.
Mark, I see we got Mark Gary Mabbutt Cousins on the show.
Of course. Well, we've just been talking about that.
Yeah, representing the player who's vilified, and he's representing the player that is loved.
Well,
I'm also representing the player who's vilified, and he's representing the player that is loved.
well,
it only cost 125,000. It was, as I recall, and at one time we were always interested in his brother Kevin, the striker, Kevin Mabbutt at Crystal Palace, weren't we, Mark?
Yeah, he was.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked Kevin Mabbutt. He was a very good player as well. Yeah, we should have signed them both.
Hi, David. Mr. Shear, sir. How are you?
Right.
If you're on YouTube, David, when you come on, if you're on YouTube, cut the YouTube out and just stay on Streamline, because otherwise you can get echo and crackling.
Yeah.
David, can you hear us? I don't think you can hear us.
No.
He's smiling.
Hello.
Yeah, you're fine.
The player who's vilified, and he's representing
there we go.
the player that is loved.
Hello.
Yeah, David, if you can hear us, turn off. At one time, we were always interested in his brother Kevin, the striker, Kevin Mabbutt at Crystal Palace, weren't we, Mark?
Yeah.
That's like 30 seconds ago.
I like him. He was a very good player as well. I'm going to take you out, David.
Hi, David. It's Shear, sir.
G'day, Adrian.
If you're on YouTube, David, when you come on, if you're on YouTube, cut the YouTube out and just stay on Streamline, because otherwise you can get echo and crackling.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll turn the telly off.
Turn the telly off and come out of YouTube.
Hello.
Yeah, you're fine. David, if you can hear us, turn off.
That's it. Right, he's gonna do something. Maybe he should leave, turn off YouTube, and come back in.
Yeah.
What I'll do, I'll remove him for now, so that we can actually talk. And it went a bit tits up there, didn't it, lads?
It certainly did.
We were like, well, there was conversations that went on like 20 seconds beforehand. It was sort of
Yeah. So we were talking about Spurs' history, right?
Yes.
And we were up to Gary Mabbutt, 1991. But we
haven't talked about anything really, have we?
Well, we wanted to backtrack to the 1981 FA Cup final.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask you, Adrian, what was your recollections of the 1981 final? Obviously, it went to a replay as well, didn't it?
1991. Remind me.
1981.
Oh, 81. Right. Sorry.
We moved on a bit because of Mark Cousins obviously loves Gary Mabbutt.
The first game when Tommy Hutchinson scored for Man City and Hoddle takes a free kick late in the game. We're all sweating a bit of Spurs fans, and it deflected off Hutchinson and went past.
It did.
I don't know if Corrigan was in goal then or someone.
Corrigan.
He was.
And went in at 1-1.
Joe Corrigan, isn't it?
Story about Tommy Hutchinson, him saying to the coach driver, "Just get us out of there, driver," because they'd drawn 1-1. They knew that in a replay they weren't fancy to beat us anyway, but we weren't at our best.
we deserved to lose that first game, didn't we?
Yeah,
yeah, we did. I think they were slightly the better team.
Yeah.
They were on top quite a few times in the first half, and the second half, I reckon we evened it out a little bit more, but they still deserved to win the match. But then it went to the replay, didn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, well, then we had the replay, which was
Thursday night. Was it a Thursday?
Yeah, it was a Thursday. I remember it vividly because we were queuing up at White Hart Lane on a Wednesday night on a freezing day, and I just remember being freezing, and my brother gave me a blanket. Yeah.
All five goals in a replay.
Hello,
David.
I can't hear you guys. I'm going to leave. Sorry.
You can't hear us.
I think you're all right now. Can you hear us? You can't hear us.
I'm not getting any.
Oh.
All right. Okay, carry on, Adrian. Our historian.
Yeah, all five goals in the replay were nice goals. They're all good goals, you know.
Yeah.
We were 1-0 down, 2-1 down for a shot outside the box, weren't we? And then Ricky Villa, I think, pops up with two and Crooks gets one, doesn't he? Like, you know, the Villa goal was always remembered.
Yeah.
Was the idealist magic?
To be honest, I'll be honest. Ricky Villa's goal the winner gets talked about all the time. Yeah. But they're
Mackenzie's shot outside the box.
That goal to make it 1-1.
What a great goal
it was like he just heads it across, doesn't he? There was some person and he volleyed it straight in the top corner.
Yeah.
I think Paul Miller heads it out, and then I think is it Mike Summerby who heads, or is it Tommy Hutchinson? I think it's Mike Summerby cushions the head, and then Mackenzie. What a great goal!
Yeah.
That was Glenn Hoddleish.
Yes, it was.
Once it was 2-2, I knew there was only going to be one winner.
Yeah.
I remember Ozzy Ardiles saying after the match, quite a few weeks after the match, he said, I was too busy complaining to the referee that they gave a penalty, right? And I wasn't in the game. And then suddenly Glenn said to him, come on, Ozzy, get in the game. Right? And he got back in the game because we needed Ozzy and Glenn to be cooking to get back in that game. Because they had Dennis Stewart, who was a dirty little sod, wasn't he? And then they had Jerry Gow, who was another dirty little sod. Like Dennis Stewart, he wasn't as dirty as Jerry Gow. But Jerry Gow, the first thing he does, he kicks Ricky Villa, like upends him. The first tackle he does. Right? And I just remember that vividly because I thought, you dirty sod.
Ricky Villa was a match. I mean, Hoddle and Ardiles were always taking the plaudits, but Ricky Villa was very underrated. Remember, we had two other excellent midfielders then because we had that really got games, Mickey Hazard and Neil McNabb. Neil McNabb was a very skillful player as well, like
beautiful
footballer. Mickey Hazard scored against Chelsea when we played them away in a tie, didn't we? We won 3 down the bridge and that. Yeah. Great. He's a total gentleman, Mickey Hazard, isn't he? He's an absolute gentleman.
My dad was at the first game.
It's fantastic. I love Mickey Hazard. I mean, I've got him on my hat and I've got him on my top over there. He signed it. So I adore him. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, we get him on. We get him on.
We'll get him on.
I don't know how good his memory is with the truth, but when I met him, when he first came to Spurs, he actually came down for £30,000. He was a bit homesick. He gives it all the love for Spurs. We don't want to give anything negative about him at all because there isn't much in it. There isn't hardly anything anyway. And like in those days, the players stay in digs. They stayed in digs, right?
Yeah.
And I was working in Church Street, Edmund, not far from where I live now.
Was you a builder, Adrian?
Yeah, I'm an ex-foreman bricklayer.
I know you're an accountant as well, weren't you?
I'm not an accountant, no.
But you were?
Yeah, I did, open university courses basically years ago, right?
Yeah,
so anyway.
That's better
than So this Chris worked with him. He said, "Oh, you're Spurs, man." I went, "Yeah." I said, "I've got we've got Mickey Hazard staying with us in digs." So one night because Mickey Hazard was just a young kid then in his teens, but he's 8. But when he was 18 or so, like And so I was with him one night in the Corbury Knife Club. There was me, this Chris, and Mickey Hazard, right? And in one game, one game I was watching the game. It was in the area between the Park Lane and the old West End, which had that band of boxes early. Someone comes up and taps you on the shoulder and sits beside me, and it's Mickey Hazard,
Nice.
I didn't know him, fan. Word Buzz and Buzzies. I didn't know him that greatly that well. Anyway, I met him at the stadium. He just looked at me. I said, "Do you remember me, Mickey?" Sort of, when someone stares at you and trying to think of something to say, because he obviously a millionaire since then, isn't he? Yeah. And I didn't get to. If I had a chance to mention Chris and he stayed in digs, because I'd like to have known what happened to Chris, and things like that. So, and I could have asked him. I said, "Did you stay in touch with him, or did you just drift away naturally, like happens, or whatever, and all that?" And then it might have triggered his memory, the Corbury Club, and go, "Oh, I remember you," or something like that. But he didn't have a clue I didn't get a chat. Everyone wanted to chat with him when I met him in a stadium. So you don't get a chance to go into long-winded conversations, about the past. So yeah, a gentleman. I met Perryman. Neil Ruddock's had his hand across. He's a tall guy, broad guy, Neil Ruddock. Neil Ruddock's had his hand across my shoulder.
Massive, isn't he?
Charlie Chan's nightclub, I met Chivers Peters and Ralph Coates.
You've got pictures with them as well, haven't it, Adrian? You've got photos.
No, I haven't. No.
Didn't you ever take a selfie?
You didn't have selfies in those days. Nobody carried a phone around.
That's bloody true.
Camera around with them. Right?
That's bloody true.
And I remember saying to Chivers, we were playing Dynamo Tbilisi in the cup, and I was the one who was bold enough, because no one would go up and talk to him at first. The three of them were at the centre of the bar, and I went, "All right, lads." So I went, then we'd start a bit of conversation. Yeah, I said, "I bet you'll get a couple of goals, Chiv." And he actually annoyed me a bit, because he went, "Oh, everyone expects me to get that, But prior to the game, Bill Nicholson had turned around and said, Dynamo Tbilisi a week in the air, right? Spurs won 5-1, 5 headers.
Bloody hell.
2 by Chiv. I think I don't know, 2 by Gilly might have probably, but it seems likely. I can't remember the exact goal score.
Bill Nicholson was brilliant at doing reverse psychology, because he remember the Atletico Madrid UEFA Cup final, and he bigged up Atletico Madrid so much, right?
In the Cup Winners' Cup, yeah.
Yeah, he bigged them up so much in the 1963, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he was
so they were fearing them, so they went and played their best game ever.
And he was a bit down because Dave Mackay was injured and couldn't play.
Yeah.
But then Dyson popped up.
I was only one, Adrian. So I was only going on what my dad told me and what I remember my dad telling me years later, and me just reading about it. And people like you, because you were old enough to remember it. I mean, you're only a young lad, but you still sticks out in your memory, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Elly.
Yeah.
Let me jump out a minute, because I think my computer's starting to work, and I'll come back in on the laptop, so you can stare at the stupid little phone.
See, look, I'd just like to join the chat a bit while you're doing that.
You carry on. I'll leave and come back in.
Yeah, of course. You do that. You do what you have to do. So David Shear saying, I remember Hoddle being the Energizer Bunny in the rain, and he was everywhere like a general. We used to get match of the day. Oh,
what a player. What a player.
He's a god of football, Glenn Hoddle. I'm saying he's the best British footballer. If not, I would put him up there with the greats of football, honestly, with your Zinedine Zidanes, your Maradonas, different type of player, but I would put him on the skill set alone, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, England have never produced a skillful player like him who could ping on muddy pitches. You look at the photos of the pitches he played on, and his debut was away at Stoke, and he scores the winner when we went up there 2-1. And then I think he made his debut at home to Norwich, and I think we drew 2-2. Yeah, but sometimes they think sticking with great players, there are certain things happen that stick in your mind with them, like Gazza's goal in a semi-final.
Yeah. I mean, Glenn Hoddle, I remember he scored against Watford.
Yeah, I know.
I said that yesterday on yesterday's. But Glenn Hoddle's goal that sticks out, well, 3 of his goals that stick out in my memory. The one against Watford, Gary Brook just lays the ball to him and he's got his back to goal. And with a swivel of his hips, he's like dummied the player and he's chipped it right over the goal. In that goal, he was 6'6". I think it was Dave Besant, wasn't it? He gets it right in the top corner, loops over Dave Besant. Dave Besant is on his arse, just like David Seaman, what Gaz had done to him. And the other 2 goals I remember very, very vividly. Actually, 3 goals. The one against Liverpool away that we actually lost the game. I think we lost either 2-1 or 3-1, I think. But we scored first, if I remember rightly. It was like a half volley from about 30 yards. Boof! You know, not too, it wasn't like a boof, like a thunderbolt. It was like a boof with accuracy, right? And that one against Nottingham Forest, that volley.
When he's in mid-air.
Yeah, mid-air.
He scored a similar one. I think
United.
he scored a similar goal to that. He made his debut against Bulgaria. And he scored a similar goal.
I went to that game.
He scored a similar goal to that for England against Bulgaria.
Yeah, the one against Liverpool, that was a similar one that he scored against Bulgaria, because I went to that match with my brother Aggie.
Yeah, and everyone remembers the last goal he scored when he dummies past the play and then just shuffles past the goalkeeper and rolls it in.
United, isn't it? We played last game, I mean, that was
so
a
many
sad
great
game.
goals, though. As he said, I wasn't a great goal scorer, but I was a scorer of great goals. I mean, none of his goals were like, they were all the free kicks. I mean,
goals. The one against Chelsea in the cup, like Mickey Hazard lays it off, and then he sort of slices across the ball, and it goes right into the bottom corner. He was like a magician. Like obviously, like his deft touch, the way he curdled the ball, no one could get it off him.
Yeah, I think we're away to Mansfield in the 2nd division.
Yeah.
And we're 3-2 down with it's the last kick of the game. Hoddle steps up for the free kick, blasts it in the far corner. It's an angle, diagonal angled free kick into the corner. I mean, he saved his. I mean, you always knew with that team, that Spurs team, if we didn't get highly pressed and we didn't have a lot of the ball and we were losing the game, as long as it's by an odd goal, you always knew that we had the players in there that could produce a piece of magic out of nothing. Odo, Ardiles, Villa, and the 2 strikers. I'm talking more when we're back in the 1st division. Crooks and Archibald. I mean, they were good. They were a good pair. I mean, they were good strikers. They had Galvin.
We'll take more care of you, Archibald. Archibald. We'll take more care of you, Archibald. Archibald. I remember, Adrian, because I see your mind ticking over. I remember at that game we played Aston Villa and Archibald scored, right? And I came out the ground and I was with loads of Aston Villa fans because I went the wrong way. So I was so excited that we're going to win the FA Cup. I went the wrong way, right? And then I lost my brothers and I lost my dad, right? And then I thought, where am I going? I was with loads of Aston Villa. And they goes to me, you're a Spurs fan, yeah. And I said, well, look, Spurs scarf and I have stupid kids, right? And then they was chatting to me, and one of them was trying to chat me up as well, and I wasn't interested, right? And then one of the fans goes to me, you really love Steve Archibald, don't you? I said, yeah, because he's brilliant. Because a lot of other fans, they don't really watch other teams, do they? They just watch their own team. So, yeah, I said, yeah, because he's bloody brilliant. And him and Garth Crooks, they've been cooking, you know. But I'm just going to go back to the chat because I want to catch up with this chat as well.
Catch up with the chat. I'll make a coffee. You catch up with the chat.
Yeah. David Clark, lovely to see you, David, from Leicester. My first game watching Spurs was 24th of October 1960 at home to West Ham United. We won 2-0. I was 6 years old. That's so lovely. You know, all us fans, we've all got memories, haven't we? You know, of what we did, where we were when certain goals were scored, you know, how it affected us being a Spurs fan and like winning cups and being in Tottenham, actually celebrating the actual victories where they come down on the bus and go to Tottenham Town Hall. You know, I've got so many memories. I mean, I've said them so many times, but this is about you guys as well. You know, it's not just about us. So Eltel Cockerill saying, show these two stalwarts of our community some love and respect and hit the like button for the stream. Yes, yes. And my niece is saying, we were a very sporty family. Yes, we were. We were. We loved our sport. We played cricket in the bloody garden. We played football in the garden. We played darts. We played this game where we put a board up and then you had to shoot with your air gun and you had to get like the bullseye. That was a good game, but we had a few stray bullets that really did hit some of my brothers. Well, they shouldn't have stood in the way, should they? Right, so Eltel saying, where's Adrian? I thought this would be his bag and right down his street. He is here. He's here, He's here. I invited him on, you know, because, you know, sometimes I like to do streams on my own, but it's hard. It really is hard to keep it going. So Julie's saying, yo, Adrian. That takes me back to Rocky. Put me on, please. All right. Oh, yes. There you go. There we go. Yes, that's better.
Here we go. I'm on the laptop. It finally decided to obey my commands.
David Shear's saying put me on, but he's not in the background, so that must have been earlier.
Well, that was ages ago, probably.
You're all talking about the other one. Then I've got David Clark saying my claim to fame was I played table tennis with Eusebio. Bloody hell, that's good. And the Portuguese squad at the 1966 World Cup finals. They stayed in a hotel opposite my school in Harlow. I was one of 12 picked to meet them. Really good. Like a lot of people talking to one another, and Jose's told me to leave those ones. David Clark saying, I also shook hands with the great Tom Finney. I was the young apprentice electrician working on an old people's home, and Tom owned a full ceiling company, and he came on site and I recognised him. Wow.
Well, I shook hands with Tommy Harmer. He was a diminutive playmaker at Spurs, very skillful. He was young in those days in the number 10, very skillful player. And actually, I went to watch Enfield play Aylesbury because Ronnie Owls used to play for Enfield. I know him well, and his son Greg was at Spurs, but his son Greg was playing for Aylesbury. And as it happens, it's strange quirks of fate on that day because, like,
I've just got to answer my door, lads. Keep on talking.
Right. Strange quirks of fate on that day because Greg Howes scored the goal for Aylesbury, and that kept them in the division because they were right at the bottom, right? Even though Enfield won the game. Of course, at the same time, Mark, if you recall, Clinton was scoring 4 goals at Wimbledon for us on the same day.
Yes, I remember that game.
That kept us in the Premier. That kept us in the Premier League. I think we needed a win.
Yes.
So it's you know, you get some you know, strange quirks of fate that involve you as a person with football as well.
Yeah.
If you don't meet your greats, you do. But like, it was a pleasure to meet Tommy Harmer. Everyone wanted to shake his hand. You know
I know I jumped up and come back on, but you were talking about 1981 when I left.
Yeah, carry on with that. Then. Yeah.
In that run up to the cup final when we won it that year, we played Exeter City in the 5th round, 4th or 5th round, and my dad used to take me a lot back then, and we went to that game, and we always used to go in the same pub so the old man could have a pint and whatever, and I could have a Coke, and they wouldn't serve us because they thought we were from Exeter. Yeah, that was it. What well, you know, because you know more about it than me. Was it the 5th round we played them?
The thing with them cup finals, they blend now. The actual rounds of games, unless something specific stood out, you know.
It was definitely. It was definitely
the 99 one final, didn't he? So there's a few games you can remember where he scored. But back to 81 and 82, or when I do my historical perspective, I actually do it from the dates. I can remember a lot of scores and a lot of the goal scorers, but I'd have to briefly go and look at my notes.
Yeah, I was going to say it was definitely in the 81 cup final run. We played Exeter City at home, and me and the old man went, and they wouldn't serve my old man.
I remember going away to Wolves. We were playing on Sheffield. I think it was Sheffield United's ground, or Sheffield Wednesday.
That was the semi-final, wasn't it?
Yeah, we played there, and that I could swear that Clive Thomas refereed the game. He hated English people. I think he hated
yeah, he's a Welsh referee, isn't it?
He refereed a League Cup game at Spurs, and we lost 3-2 to Wrexham. What was a Welshman doing refereeing? And he's sort of laughing when he come off after we lost, right? All right, absolutely. Yeah. So anyway, he referees it. He gives them a dodgy, I think it was a penalty at the end.
I wouldn't have been surprised.
We were winning 1-0. But then you remember the replay at Highbury because that Ricky Villa goal that went rocket that went in the net. We won 3-0, but I can't remember it. Probably Crook scored or something. I mean, our Archibald. I can't remember the other score because I just remember the Ricky. He's hit it from outside. Hello, David.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello,
David. How you doing?
Are you with us?
Can you hear us, David? Can you hear us, David?
Can you hear us?
Hello.
I am.
We can hear
hello.
You. Yeah, we can hear you.
David.
Stuff in Lou. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
There's a big lag.
Yeah. I was going to say it's like. Is he in Australia or Mars?
Yeah, there's a big lag.
Yeah. I was going to say.
Have you got?
Like,
I'm gonna go. This is Croatian level internet. I'm gonna go. This is Croatian level.
Turn it off, David. David, if you've got the radio and TV, turn it off. And if you've got us on YouTube as well, come out of YouTube. StreamYard,
you want me to message
you? How's that? Is that better?
That's better.
It is better. Yeah. That's better.
Yeah. That's perfect now because there was stuff in the background.
You don't want a TV, radio, or YouTube on, just a StreamYard link.
I want to get more stories in from you. What I'm doing is bringing up the chat so everybody can read it anyway. All right. It says you need win cups now because as you get older, we all start losing
really getting into crying.
No, what
do you mean stop?
Right. He's going to get this for that. He's going to get this Vindaloo. Just wait, you Vindaloo. Let me get rid of that. Right, hold on. Where is he? Oh, right, he's in the chat, isn't he? Comments.
All right, David, can you talk?
This for that. He's going to get this Vindaloo. Oh, just wait, you Vindaloo.
No, I was going to say I can hear background.
Let me get rid of.
It's like he's got.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Vindaloo, but it's not my banner. It's somebody else's banner. But even Eric Dyer thinks. Right.
I honestly thought David was in Australia, not like Mars or somewhere.
He's in Australia, but he might be via Croatia.
Yeah, because like the lag to the moon is only a second and a half. But like I had conversations that went on like 30 seconds ago.
Yeah,
this is one of the funniest streams I've been on because you've got David Shear frozen. He says he's got internet like Croatia, so he's actually dissed the whole country. But we mustn't laugh because we're saying sorry, Croatia. It's David Shear's fault. Right.
Did you watch the first stream that I ever come on a laptop and it all went completely mental? And it all went completely mad. It all went completely mad, and I didn't have a clue what was going on. I mean, even now the damn thing don't obey my commands until I start. If I shout and swear, it does.
It's like this.
Could you please get up off the toilet? I got the shit, bitch.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Now let's get back to Tottenham because we've got a few more things to cover before Kate goes live at 12 o'clock. I want to talk about the Champions League because we're going to bring it back to present day. Right. Mark, first of all, what did the Champions League run do for you and making the final? What,
in 2019? Oh, it was everything. The the night we played Ajax, I was actually working. I was a cabbie and I was working. But the boss, I never had a break. And the boss, and we were 2-0 down at half time. Yeah. And then it got to 2-1. And then it went to it was 2-1. And the boss said, "You ain't had a break yet, have you?" He said, "No." He said, "Go on then. Go and watch the last second half or so." I went in the pub. I went in the boss. And I went in the pub and watched and had a couple of Diet Cokes and whatever, and I was watching the football, and it was mental in there. It went absolutely mad. Yeah. I never thought in my lifetime that I'd see us in the Champions League final.
Yeah.
Ever.
What about Morris's second goal?
Yeah.
Oh my
God. My dad's always said to me, he said, "I've seen something that you will never see, and that's us win the league title." And I'm still waiting. Yeah. Even though we should have had two, but we're not Levy out or nothing. It's not about that.
That's my ambition.
We're not mentioning the
Premier League and the Champions League. But I'm 70 next birthday, so they're going to have to do it within the next decade.
Adrian, I'm gonna if I come, I don't like to be morbid, right? But if I die before you, come to my funeral and say, "Here lies Steve. You never bloody saw us win the league," right?
I've already said that at my funeral, whenever that is, I want the Tottenham team to come down, and so they can let me down one more time.
You know what I mean? That's a good. Yeah. It's a shame because we've had such brilliant footballers. My brother Boo said to me the other day, because he's full of wisdom, my brother Boo. I'm always mentioning him because he's a fantastic Spurs fan and he's a great brother. And he goes to me, "All these fantastic footballers we've had, and we haven't won the league. Are you having a laugh?"
The chance,
Adrian and Mark.
The two chances we had is the year Leicester done it and the year after when Chelsea done it. Yeah. How we never won the league because we had by far the best team, but we only had an 11,
and we destroyed the myth. And we destroyed the myth that said, "Oh, the team that concedes the least goals and scores the most goals wins the league," because we scored one more goal than Chelsea, and I think we conceded one less. And finished second.
I know they should. Really
the thing is back then.
They should really.
The thing is back then we had a very good first 11, but we never had. And plus, the year Leicester won it and the year Chelsea won it, they had nothing else. They had no European games, but we were in the Champions League, right? And around then with Poch is when I became Levy out because I could see he never gave us just that couple extra players to get us over the line. 2 or 3 more signings. So we had a good bench. And we'd won both of them leagues. And he never done it.
Well, take consolation that Chelsea won it by cheating anyway with Bent Abramovich's money.
Yeah, but that still doesn't... if Levy had stuck his hand in his pocket, I mean, the transfers weren't as expensive as they are now. If he'd have given him 70 million, that's 3 top players that could have sat on our bench and he could have brought them in. Poch could have brought them in for injuries, rotate, and we'd have won both of them leagues.
Yeah, so God,
and I will never ever forgive Daniel Levy for that because we were in the prime position. We had the best team in the league by quite a way, I'd say, because City weren't what they are now.
We were.
How do you think about present time, Mark? I mean, how do you feel about going? I mean, I'm excited about this transfer window because I think 3 or 4 players could transform us, right? Indefinitely into winning domestic trophies. But look, realistically, I'm always positive. I'm always 75% glass full. But even I know we're not going to win the league next year. Yeah, but we could win 1 or more trophies.
That's better.
That's better, mate.
God, David.
Yes, here we go. Yeah. Right. To be honest, Adrian. Right? I've seen it a million times. I've seen it a million times with this damn football club. Levy will do enough to get us 4th. And that's all he's interested in.
Do you think
soon as we're in fourth,
guys?
as soon as we're in fourth, that's enough. Just get that Champions League money rolling in, and that's enough.
I think we can get that fourth easy. I mean, I'm aiming higher than that.
We've got 9 minutes left. We've got 9 minutes left, guys. Let's get David Shearer in here. He's tried all day to get in. I mean, he must have a headache down under, I reckon.
Oh,
right,
I have.
Are you with us?
I am.
Yes. Come on, David.
It's 10 to 7 in the evening.
Yeah. I was going to say.
I love the Aussie accent. Just to hear that is enough. So I wanted to get your opinion on. Do you think Spurs will win the league before we all pop our clogs?
Spurs will win the league next year. We're in for the quaddie. I'm like Jimbo on that.
Fighting talk.
And
come on, you Spurs.
We're not going to get 20 players in this transfer window, but we will get quality. I'm sure of that.
Do you like the scarf?
I just want us to dampen down the Bergvall thing. I don't want our fan base to latch onto him if he doesn't quite make up expectations.
That won't happen. There's a different tone on the media to because the majority of the fan base around the planet and around Spurs anyway, they don't use social media, and they're probably wise for not using it, to be honest.
I love Jose's take on shitter, not Twitter. Shitter.
The shitter.
I don't even use that anymore.
I call it the cesspit.
So, David, tell us your experience of being a Spurs fan, and how did you become a Spurs fan? That's more interesting.
I snuck out. I couldn't sleep one night when I was about 11, and I watched Match of the Day, and it was before the FA Cup, and I saw Glenn Hoddle run in the rain, and mate, he was everywhere.
Lovely.
And I remember Steve Perriman right behind him.
Brilliant.
And then we got the FA Cup. And oh my God, I can't remember, the goals and that. I mean, that's half a lifetime ago and many brain cells ago. But and I loved them ever since.
Yeah.
I mean, all we had in the newspaper was the results at the time. I mean, Australia's really backward, especially country Western Australia. I come from a very small community where Australian rules. And as Alex says, get to know Australian rules.
I used to watch that.
We do the same thing. We do the horseshoe now, just like you guys do. It incorporates all sorts of football, but there's no offside. And
I used to watch Aussie Rules. It was on Channel 4 in this country. And it is just a big fight.
Just slammed it. My hubby's on a bender with the lads in Benidorm.
Good on you.
Keep an eye on him, Theo. Mind him, lads.
Good on you.
Look out, Chelsea. Look out, Chelsea. You might end up in a rail car.
No women allowed.
Theo, we're not paying your fine, right? We're not paying your fines out there.
Yeah. Get the beers in.
The man's here. The man himself.
Henniger.
The head honcho's disappeared.
Woo, that's the head
Henniger, Mark.
He's like the
Hey, he's like Copper.
Elto's like the SAS. He slipped in and out without you knowing. Right?
Yeah, sorry. I'm working. I'm working. I've not been able to listen to any of the show. All I've got to say, when I just saw who was on the screen, I just thought to myself, I've got to come on. I've got to come and say hello to you all. It's really nice seeing you, and thank you very much for everything you guys do for the community.
Yeah.
I'm too lazy.
I never accused you of lying to me. It was missing translation.
That's all right. No, you're all right. You're all right.
Love you, Cobber.
Yeah, likewise. How are you all right?
Going to footy?
You what?
Sorry?
How'd you go in your match last night?
Oh yeah. You played.
I didn't play last night.
Oh yeah.
Last night.
Played Wednesday.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
You're on Croatia time.
Yeah, no, I played Wednesday and I played Monday, and I've got 2 matches tonight.
Bloody hell. Where'd you get that?
Getting relegated or what?
Sorry?
You getting relegated or promoted?
Mate, I'll never get relegated. Don't worry about that. But how are you?
Where'd you get the energy from to play 3 times a week?
Wow.
That's what I want to know. Jesus.
Unbelievable.
It's the love. It's like you guys. It's the love for football. So the love for football is what makes me want to play. And you know, at the end of the day, not just watching it, but I like to get involved. It's the camaraderie you get as well.
Yeah.
It's all the banter that you have as well. You know, and and again, there's different stories when you play a game of football. There's different stories because everybody is from a different era. I mean, I'm at the older end of the era. But you play against 16-year-olds or 20-year-olds and all that, and they're whippets. But when you talk about football, they've got a different look out on football than what us older people have got. So it's absolutely brilliant. It's great spending time with people, and it's diverse cultures. It's great spending time with people. So
definitely. Brian Daigle's in the household, Jose. Good morning.
Big up, Brian. Love you, man.
Big up, that Brian. I hope you're all well. Have a great weekend, whatever you are doing. Yeah.
No, Brian's got his results today, I think. Good luck, Brian.
Yeah.
Good luck. And my brother Boo just told me today that he's going to go and have a prostate check. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So he's been having a little bit of pain down under, David.
Yeah.
You know? So he's got to go and have a prostate check. So hopefully he's all right. I'm praying for my brother.
Yeah.
And I'm praying for Brian as well.
Yeah.
Well, I had to have a colostomy without anaesthesia. That was an adventure.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell you in the early hours, the uncensored version.
Because I've got to shoot back. I've got to shoot
back
to work. I've seen Adrian
and
I've
seen Elly. The show very soon, right? Because Kate's going on very soon.
So we can run over for 15 minutes.
Right, but I've seen
hear more from David. We can run over.
Adrian, carry on. I've seen Adrian and
I should go on Kate's show later. I'm not on it. I should listen in, but I mean,
I just wanted to say a big shout out to Mark, because Mark the Sheriff, I've not seen you for a while. It's really good to see you back.
Exactly.
Really good to see you back.
I've been about. I've just been a bit rough.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm happy to see you, Mark.
And it's all good.
Dave as well. Happy to see you, Cobber. And all important people within the community. And it's great that you can speak about Tottenham, about our great club, and please continue to do so.
Yeah, guys, we're going to go for another 15 minutes, all right, Jose?
Yeah, that's fine. I've got to go back to work, so I love you and see you all soon. But carry on the good work.
Get back
guys.
to work.
All right, take care.
Bye, people.
See ya.
Bye.
Great to see you, mate.
Yeah, so David,
I won't tell you about the colostomy. That's just a bridge too far at the moment.
Yeah. It is a bit too. Yeah, but the thing is,
it involves that way.
We've all had our health problems, you know.
Yeah.
We can swap notes at the end of the stream.
It comes of age, you know, I always say you're like a car. The parts wear out eventually. You know, they nuke my foot.
They do.
Heart condition, got chronic rhinitis. I'm pre-diabetic. I'm on statins, and I'm only on about 7 tablets. You know, and a steroid.
Is that all?
Is that all? Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Adrian.
My mate's done 17. Right, so he's got prostate cancer as well. So he has got prostate cancer. So we'll see. He's a few years younger than me, but I knew his dad well. You know?
Well, I went down and had a beer with my 86-year-old father that's looking after my 83-year-old mother that's not long for this world, and it was awesome. And I treated it every moment.
Morose about it, right? Because at least the worst thing is when you've got a condition and you're in constant pain or something like that. Because it doesn't really, you can see it in people's faces when they're suffering.
Yeah.
And I like to see people suffering. I'm a humanitarian, you know, so like, and I don't hate. You never get me hate on people. So yeah. So
you know
anyway, let's move along from this. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting a bit morbid.
I think we lost most of the chat by now.
As a woman, when I've got pain, you know what I do? I'll give a sexy man a kiss, and then all the pain goes away.
Well, pucker up, Elly.
Pucker up. Mwah. I'm good at giving kisses as well.
Yeah, you can play up. Theo's out of the scene right now.
Yeah, he is. You know, and I just had two very
Not
nice.
that I condone that sort of behaviour.
Yeah, these two gentlemen knocked on my door. They were supposed to come after 12, but they came early. They're coming to fix a fire alarm in my home. So I had to send them away. Yeah, I had to send them away because, like, it's called Safe and Connected because Theo is very disabled, right? They fix a fire alarm. So if there's a fire, obviously we're not going to get burnt to death. We'll just die.
It wasn't Hoiberg and Bendiker, was it? It wasn't Hoiberg and Bendiker. You kissed it.
Oh, Bendiker. Yeah, I changed my name for a little while because I was getting so much stick about Hoiberg. Oh my God, he gets me into so much trouble, this man. I'm going to actually write him an email and tell him when he goes to Napoli and joins Conte, he will join Napoli. I'm about 90.
No, not this year.
Yeah.
He is going to burn, Elly.
I don't think he's going to stay.
I am so excited with Spurs.
Yeah.
We've got players that were only half fit last year, and I'll tell you what, that's when Ange will come in, and they won't be able to touch us. I don't give a rat's ass about all these tactics gurus.
Was it Brian Clough said it, didn't he? Football's a game of tactics, sport by footballers. I think that's what he said. I have to look it up. I keep on forgetting it.
I saw Pierre score at White Hart Lane.
Yes, I did.
I was sat near you, Elly, in the Everton game last year. The Everton game, not last year, the year before.
Yeah, when
he scored what? 5 goals and 5 assists under Conte.
He scored 5 in the league, but he scored 1 in Europe away to.
He did. It was
in total. Yeah.
He scored the winner. He scored the winner.
He just doesn't fit the system. That's all, El. He's not rubbish. He just doesn't fit the system. You can't fold his heart or anything.
Look, you're a footballer, right? You're a lad. You're asked to adapt, and he's tried it. He's tried to. The poor lad. He can't really move his hips quickly, and
he's getting a bit old now as well, isn't he?
Well, he's 29. He
should be in his peak. But Elly, did you hear Ange bad mouthing?
Yeah, what Ange bad mouth Hoiberg?
Yeah.
Well, no. I heard that Hoiberg
Ange hasn't bad mouthed anyone.
No,
he never will. That's not his style.
No, he doesn't. But Hoiberg did say you've got to ask the manager why I'm not playing because he sees other players playing ahead of him. And he probably thinks.
But Ange still didn't throw him under the bus. Ange won't say things in the public here.
The only ones who bad him is Spurs supporters.
Yeah. Well,
you get lots of
players. Don't give a rat's ass about the Stells and the Sappers.
He's like
lots of players
he divides
through the club during the evolution of the team. The team's going through a different evolution under Ange, and obviously some don't. It's not that Hoiberg isn't a bad player. He'll do a good job wherever he goes. I'm sure he will.
So, as Alex says, they've got to get to know, don't they?
That's right. And if you don't know, get to know.
And it works both ways. It works both ways.
I don't like to talk about Hoiberg because I get into trouble. I really do. Right. So let's move on and let's go to another great player we had, Paul Gascoigne.
Oh my goodness.
He
was all right.
He was a bit of all right, wasn't he?
Yeah, well,
David, what do you think of that Paul Gascoigne? What are your recollections of him playing?
Paul Gascoigne was an absolute freak. I remember him going down in his when he did his knee. I was absolutely devastated. But when I look back now, I wish the people that loved him protected him more.
Exactly that, mate.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Brian Daigle,
and that's a detriment to every club that he ever played for.
Yeah. To me, he is on a par with Glenn Hoddle as the best I've seen.
Without a doubt.
It's
In
very difficult.
1996, you guys wouldn't have made the semi-finals in the Euros without him.
You know, he had his minder. He used to give 500 quid a week to. He said Jimmy Five Bellies. Yeah.
Yeah. For me,
he went to prison. Right. It's a little short story. He went to prison.
Mark, go. Then you can.
He is on a level. He is on a level.
He's a maverick.
He's up there with Glenn Hoddle as the best I've ever seen play for us.
Oh,
there's Hoddle is probably my favourite.
And you wanted him.
Gazza is on his level.
Yeah, in a different way.
Because Gazza, I mean, you look at the 91 Cup run, he dragged us to Wembley and won the damn thing with a hernia for most of it.
I know.
And I've had a hernia and I couldn't function normally.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was just something else. There was a story about him taking.
And there's a story there with Sonny too, by the way, when Sonny dipped. To have a hernia and for him to try and play and turn and move and shoot, that's near on impossible. He still scored double figures that year.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what happened? The fan base turned on him.
Just one more thing with Gazza is how many players have actually got a mania named after them. There's none. It was Gazza mania. Like Euro 90, Italian 90.
But I love Gazza's personality. I'm sorry,
Italian 90 was Gazza mania.
Yeah.
Because the whole world went mad for him.
I know. He's just a maverick footballer, but he had such
fantastic
blind skill, close control, beat a player like they weren't there. He just went past them like they weren't there.
But he wasn't up himself with it. He just went with it.
Yeah, true. Let's bring in Adrian. Adrian, let's get your thoughts on Gazza.
Fair play to Roger Milford in the 91 Cup final for not sending him off.
Yes,
tackle he made. Done his ligaments, but that tackle he made. It weren't for the fact that he's finished. I think Lineker said to Milford, he's finished. I think they did their best to confuse the ref because that was a red card every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Well, both of them weren't they?
Yeah. He was so fired up for the final. And it was a question of whether he was fit and he was going to last the minutes. And my mate said, what do you think Venable should do? And I said, well, bring him on later on. And I went, no. I say, you play him. If he runs out of gas, then you take him off. But you get the most out of him you can get out of him. You know?
Yeah.
And we deserved to win that final. And my other moment of that and Gaz was actually like the way Justin Edinburgh didn't take no crap off of Roy Keane in that game because they were going at him.
And Steve Sedgley.
Yeah.
Steve Sedgley called him a W.
And I think at 1-1, I think Cloughie there's a story turned around to, I don't know if it's Peter Taylor was his assistant manager, and I don't know, so whoever it was, he said at that time of the game, we're going to lose. Now that's a strange thing to say. But the funny story about Gaz was we all know like he had that minder, Jimmy Five Bellies, didn't we? Yeah.
Yes.
He'd given him 500 or something. So he went to prison.
I can hear that echo thing again.
Gazza was doing it on mud pitches. Very true.
He went to prison, Jimmy Five Bellies, and someone turned up in front of Gazza with a T-shirt.
Hang on a minute, Adrian. Hang on. It's David with the feedback again.
David, we're getting the feedback. Have you gone to Croatia again? I'll have to remove him. I can't. Yeah, sorry. I don't want to, but I have to.
So someone's turned up in front of Gazza with a T-shirt on. It said, "Free the Newcastle Five." Like,
Do you know what? My brother was telling me that he read a story about Gazza. He kicked the ball in training over the fence, and then he went missing for 2 days. And then he came with the ball. He goes, "I found the ball."
Didn't he jump over the wall and go down the pub or something?
He must
went
have
on a bender for a couple of days.
He went missing.
Yeah.
You know, like a man who's like trying to escape from his wife who's nagging him. That's what it is. Yeah. He went missing for a couple of days and then he brought an ostrich to the training ground, didn't he? He brought an ostrich to the training ground.
Yeah, he borrowed that from he borrowed that from a wildlife park or a zoo or something.
It's hilarious. You don't bring an ostrich to the training ground, but you're Gaza, and he gets away with it because Terry Venables going, "You can do anything, mate, because you're a genius."
And he put a Tottenham shirt on it. He put a Tottenham shirt on the ostrich and then just let it loose on the training ground.
Oh my god!
Because there's something, I think it's on YouTube. There's a story about that because after the training session, they had to try and catch a damn thing. It took them hours. It took them hours to round this ostrich up and like put it in his car so he could take it back.
They got like a loop, you know, just loop it
well,
over.
Lord knows how they caught it. You know, but it took them hours to like round this ostrich up.
And I remember his tears, you know, when he knew he wasn't going to play in the final. And like I was crying my eyes out. I don't know about you lads, but I was crying my eyes out that day.
I thought we lost, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he went off, Stuart Pearce banged that goal in, and I thought we've had it. Like Gaza had gone. Gaza was out of it, and he was our talisman.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought that's it, we've lost. But thankfully, Naeem come on, and he did all right. Naeem, when he come on for Gaza that day.
Yeah, he did because he laid on
Des Walker. The ball come off for the winner, didn't it? Come off Des Walker.
Yeah, but he headed it in, didn't he?
That happened to Mabbott in the '87 final. The deflection.
And if you see Des Walker heading it into his own net, right behind him is Gary Mabbott, because I wanted Gary Mabbott to head in because he'd become my hero by then.
Didn't he, Gary Mabbott? And like Des Walker, I believe, I read that he was a massive Spurs fan. So thank you very much, Des Walker, for scoring.
Oh, was it? Ah, well, there we go. That explains a lot. That explains a lot why you headed it in then.
You can't beat that smile though when Mabbott lifts that cup. That says everything in his eyes and his smile.
Yeah,
when he's just looking at it's like love. It's just sheer love for the cup and the fans.
A lot of it was from '87 as well.
Yeah.
After what happened, because that talk I went to when I met him like 6 months ago, he said in Coventry to this day, their fanzine up there is called Gary Mabbott's Knee. It's GMK or something. Is their fanzine, and it stands for Gary Mabbott's Knee from the '87 final.
Bloody brilliant. And do you know when Steve Perryman picks up the cup as well in 1981? I was just nearly 19, lads, right?
Yeah.
And I remember looking up at Steve Perryman and I'm thinking, that man deserves that cup on his own. Right?
Yeah.
Even though he didn't do a Gaza and got us to that final, because Gaza made that final, he got us there, right? But Steve Perryman, he done just as much, but in a different way to get us to that final. Right?
Well, he won 6 trophies, didn't he? 2 League Cups, 2 FA Cups, over 14 years and 850 odd caps. That'll never be beaten.
Yeah.
That says a lot, doesn't it? That says a lot. 6 trophies in 14 years, and now we ain't got any in 16.
You know what? He said he done another record. I was watching his podcast, and he said he's the only player in history to have scored in every single year for 17 years of his career. Yeah, he said I
watched that episode
but that's my record.
Yeah,
and that's without his young junior
love him
honors that he got, you know, Perryman.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Oddle, they came in the team at such a young age. They were like 16, 17-year-olds.
Yeah. Do you remember he says a story about when he was 15 and he had to get a train and 2 buses to come to White Hart Lane to train. Not White Hart Lane, to Ballsmore Lane, wasn't it? We were training. Yeah. Anyway, he was saying that he arrived 5 minutes late.
Brookman's Park.
Yeah, and he saw Mike England in the parking lot, and Mike England was late as well. So he went over to Mike England and they sneaked through the back and pretended they were on time. And Bill Nicholson had copped them already, both of them. He was telling me at World Football Club, and he goes in, right, and they sit down all sheepish because they know Bill Nicholson's one to set the tempo of the club. You can't be late for training. You've actually got to be 15 minutes early.
Yeah.
That's what he wanted, right? And then he goes, Mike England is trying to cover for me, but he can't cover for me, right? And then Bill Nicholson's copped him, and he's bloody thrown the book at both of them, but he's thrown the book more at Steve Perryman because Mike England's got more stature in the team, you know, because Steve Perryman's a youngster, right? And I just remember him telling me that story, and he had many other stories about going into and asking him for a pay rise, right? He goes, "Oh, Bill, you know, he's very sheepish, right? He goes, I'm on 26 quid, and you know, Alan Gilzean's on 96 quid. I mean, you know, I should be at least halfway there, like 50 odd quid." And Bill Nicholson just stares him in the face, and he goes, "Steve, have you seen yourself play?" That's fucking brilliant. You know, all these little stories that Steve Perryman tells us about Bill Nicholson.
When he was first training with the club, I think Eddie Bailey told me he's Bill Nicholson's right-hand man, second in command, and like he's saying, "Oh, young Perryman, I hear you've been picked to go on a pre-season tour." You know what I mean? The players never got no praise off the management team. You know, that if Bill or Bailey said you did well, then like you knew you had a good game, you know?
Yeah. Look at this story. Daniel Coy saying another story about Gazza when Gattuso joined Rangers. Gazza took a shot in his boots as a welcoming. You know what? He was such a character.
I don't think that's meant to be shot in his boots.
We've got David Sheard saying Perryman has never bashed our team, just first class. He really is.
He lives down this way now.
Our dealers said to him, because our dealers, you didn't need to tell our dealers what to do. And our dealers, Stevie turned around in the game. And Perryman was the sort of player that even if it was off his game, that didn't make him shy away from telling players what to do. He would still scream at them. And our dealers go, Stevie, why are you always shouting? Because you're not playing well. You know, and this is a player captain telling a, you know, one of the players are not playing well and they need to work harder, you know.
Did you hear the story? Did you hear the story about Steve Perryman, Ozzy, and Ricky? When I think there was one of them had to be dropped for a game because there was only 2 spaces, and Keith Birkinshaw was asking them how they were, and Ricky V at the time didn't speak very good English. And so Ozzy was translating, and so Keith says to Steve Perryman, like, "How are you?" And he's, you know, "How are you feeling?" And all that. He said, "Yeah, I'm okay." Blah 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 blah. And then he says to Ozzy, like, "You know, are you 100%? How are you feeling?" "Oh yeah, boss. You know, all right." And he says to Ozzy, "Can you like ask Ricky?" And so Spanish or Portuguese, whatever they speak. And so he like translates. And, you know, and Ricky speaks back to him, and he says, "Well, what did he say?" He says, "Oh, well, he's got like a thing." And Ricky had said to him, "I'm perfectly all right. I'm 100% fit." Right? And so Ozzy tells Keith Birkinshaw, "Oh, he's got a bit of tightness in his hamstring or so." And so suddenly Ricky's on the bench. You know, but Ricky didn't realise that there was only 2 spaces. You know, but in the translations, Ozzy had said, "Oh, well, he's got a bit of tightness in his hamstring or so," and then he wondered why he was on the subs bench Saturday.
When we got him in '78, after I remember following Spurs in the 2nd division because we were
talking about that earlier.
0-0 at Southampton to get promotion, right?
Yeah.
And Ricky and Vila come, and then we got Archibald and Crooks. I think we already had Archibald. We were getting Crooks for 800 grand. We got Crooks
from Stoke City, didn't we? We got Crooks. Yeah.
Playing a couple of games, we get a draw away at Forest first game. We lose at home, where Ellie was at that game the first time going to Villa. And then
4-1 to Villa, man.
And Nicky Villa saying to all his Aussie, "We joined a shit team." He said, "We joined a shit team," and this is before the glory happened. So it took from '78 to like it took a while to bed in. This is why Angie's got a big
3 years, really.
It took a while It took
2
a while.
years. 2 years.
We knew we had we had 5 quality players, and that's without Hazard and McNabb. You know, you knew you had 5 quality players in Odlai, Dooley's, Veland, Archibald, and Crooks. You know, if you couldn't score in front of Odlai, Dooley, and Veland, you're never going to score a goal.
Good luck, Brian. Good luck for today, mate.
Yeah, you could have put a donkey up front there to got you.
We're all behind you, Brian. You know, hope everything goes well for you, all right, mate?
And the thing was then, when you had a pair of strikers, look, we sort of pleased if Sonny gets you 20 goals a season. This is what fans don't realise. But Crooks and Archibald, Crooks would chip in with 20 and Archibald would chip in with 25. That's what you need now. You need 2 that can bang in 20 goals a season. I mean, people are thinking it's good. Son shared the golden ball with Salah when he scored 17. I'm thinking, well, Archibald would get 25. Greaves would only get 40 a season. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's another story. But that's another. I met Jimmy Greaves.
Whoa!
I
didn't look pretty.
I was 7 years old, and my dad took me to our local team, and Jimmy Greaves was playing for Barnet against them. And and at the end of the game, now. We had a famous sloping pitch at my home team.
Yeah.
And my dad sent me on the pitch, and he said, "Go and get that man's autograph over there." and so I ran on the pitch. I didn't have a clue who he was. You know, I mean, the word Jimmy Greaves didn't mean nothing to me. And so I ran up to him. I said, "Hey, mister, can I have your autograph?" And he said, "Of course you can." And so he signs this like thing. And, but it's only like years later I realised it was Jimmy Greaves. You know, because
how old were you?
7,
Oh,
6,
no,
7. I don't have a clue who he was.
Mark, their difference was Greaves would come out the ground. They'd come out the Spurs ground, then the old Spurs ground. He'd walk across the park lane. You know that calf that used to be next to the corner pin?
Yes.
He'd walk in and sit down, have a cup of tea and some toast.
Yeah.
And all the things in there.
Full English, at the fag as well.
That's what it was like, you know. I mean, like people respected you; they wouldn't mob you and things like that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I know. My dad told me stories.
Bobby Smith and Dyson over Walthamstow dog track. You know what I mean? Like, and
I think there was Tony's hairdressers as well. It was a Greek fella, right? And he had that, you know, that spinning thing that they have barbers. And I remember it as a kid because my dad used to go and have his hair cut before the match because he wanted to look pucker, right? And I used to go into the ground with my dad, and my dad used to hold my hand, take me in, and then he would leave me with my brothers so that he can go and shout all sorts of obscenities if he had to, so that I didn't hear.
Yeah.
He was a bit of a potty mouth, my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he used to leave me with my brothers, and it was so incredible, like, the Shelfside where we went, and originally that we were Shelfside family. Everybody knew the Loisus. We were famous, right? And like we moved to the Park Lane later on, and I remember we played Doncaster Rovers in the League Cup, I think it was, and Doncaster Rovers scored first. I think we beat them 7-1 or 7-2.
It was 7-2. I was at that game.
Yeah, 7-2. They go. I just remember it so vividly because the Doncaster Rovers fans were going zigga zagga Doncaster, zigga zagga Doncaster, and I thought, what are these northern people like? What sort of song is that? Nothing against the Northerners, but I thought that was a weird song.
You talking about the shelf? You talking about the shelf? I can remember it was probably 85, 86 maybe. I went to White Hart Lane on my own, and I said to my dad, "I'm going to go Tottenham tomorrow. You know, go up on the train, whatever." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "That's right." He said, "But do not stand on the shelf." Right. And so I can remember, because the only way I knew of getting there was to get off at Seven Sisters and do the walk of shame for 1.5 miles up the road, you know, up Tottenham High Road. And I remember coming out of Seven Sisters, like tube station, and I was like, "Where's the football ground?" And so I seen a couple of lads with blue and white scarves on. I said, "Which way's the ground, mate?" And he said, "Oh, follow us." He said, "We're going out there." And I would have been 15, I expect. And so we were walking up Tottenham High Road, and they said, "Oh, we're going in here for a pint." They said, "Do you fancy a pint?" I was like, "Mate, I'm 15." He said, "I'll be all right, mate. Just come in and sit down in the corner." He said, and so like cut the beers later, 15, thinking I was a big man and that, you know. And so we got to the ground. I said, "Where were you standing then?" And he said, "Oh, we stand on the shelf." That's good enough for me. Straight round on the shelf. And my goodness. But when I got home, my dad said to me, "Where did you stand?" I said, East Lower. East Lower. I couldn't tell him I was on the shelf because he'd gone mental.
Yeah, because the shelf side, it was
the shelf was mental.
Yeah, because we were mental. Our family were like, all my brothers, they were crazy, especially my brother Scully. He had the most, he made up his own songs as well, and everybody followed him. Like he used to say, "I wear the balmy Tottenham Army led by Winnie the Pooh." It's really
I started off in the Park Lane, and I think it was about 12.5 pence in today's money to get in. It might have been less actually, because 12.5 pence was an old half a crown, like, you know. It might have been less. It might have been 1 and 6. It might have been 10 pence. I don't know. In today's money, and then sometimes a mob of us would go down to Paxton and to give any goalkeeper like Bob Wilson a load of abuse or what. Try and beat. You never put him off his game. He was a pro. But I had a standing season ticket in the West End, because in the enclosure you could get a season ticket, and then I had a season ticket above the shelf, and I was about 6 rows back and about halfway between the camera stand and the Park Lane end, you know. And I never sat, and the only time I sat in that seat was because my mate was about 2 rows back and he was about 3 yards from the halfway line. And the guy that used to sit there was from, I think he's from Saudi Arabia or something like that. And he hardly ever turned up. So, but he turned up for the UEFA Cup final in 1984. So I had to sit in my own seat, you know, when we won on penalties. And Tony Parks made that save. So, yeah. So I had a season ticket there. I mean, now my season ticket's in the East End, you know, so high up.
So many fantastic memories. And you see this ring, what I've got here, this was my mum's old ring, which I bought for her, and it's blue and white for Tottenham. And my mum used to wear it, and she said, "When I wear it on my little finger, Spurs will win a cup." And I forgot that she told me that. So I'm going to keep it on my little finger. And this season coming up, I'm telling you, I'm very superstitious, lads.
So it's your fault we ain't won nothing.
Yeah, I put it on my little finger. But look, we've got Ange Postecoglou. He's a lovely guy. He's a fantastic man, yet alone a fantastic manager. Everywhere he's gone, he's won. And every time his second season, he always does really, really well on his second season.
Well, remember, Conte and Jose said that as well. But look what happened when Levy got hold of him.
Yeah,
there's no reason why we can't win on one or more cups. And it's not just the top teams. Look at Man United, where they finish 8th and they won the FA Cup. Where'd they finish in the end?
8th, wasn't it?
Yeah,
United.
8th, and they won the FA Cup. You've only got to win 6 games now. I mean, you know, back in the day, you'd have replays. Sometimes you might play 12 games. I remember Arsenal having 3 replays against Sheffield United, 1-1, 2-2, and 3-3 before it was eventually decided. You could play no end of replays through the rounds. But now the replays have been banned. So 6 games, you can win it. So we can win a trophy. 3 or 4 players added to this squad would absolutely transform us. If we got a striker who bang some goals in, another good winger in, you know, a class Eze in, and we got Lucas Bergvall coming in, 6'2" young Swede, obviously, you know, and we know
we get that though.
We'll be
we will. Yeah, we will.
Right.
I haven't heard anything from the AGM yesterday, but which will probably be just a PR exercise anyway, so probably won't get much out of it. But I'm confident we can win a trophy next year. I'm confident. Yeah. You can park the FA Cup, Mark, not even forget about it, because the 6th round doesn't start to January the 5th. So we can forget about that. But this year, he's got to field his strongest side in the League Cup, right? Yeah. And then when we get in the Europa League, we've got 8 games, 4 away games and 4 home games against 8 different teams. We don't know who we're going to play at home. We don't know who we're going to play away. Now, if we go strong in the Europa League, we could get to a stage, if you win 4 games or 5, you've got 3 dead rubbers and you can play the kids. That's what I want to see.
That's the trophy I want us to win.
I want the Europa League more than anything else.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think Sonny agrees as well. There we go. Sonny agrees.
Although, to be honest, I'd take any trophy.
Yeah.
And Sonny deserves one with us, doesn't he, lads?
Oh,
he really does.
Yeah.
He's been a very.
Mark, the treble's on, mate. The treble's on next year. Right?
He's the Korean Jesus.
We say that every year.
Yeah, I know.
Korean Jesus.
Well, I mean, you've got to go. This is why I'm always 3/4 full of glass. I mean, like you've got. I mean, I've always said it on every ground. I get accused of being delusional because I say I'm fortunate to live a mile and a half from the ground. I can walk there in 40 minutes. I mean, like, so I'm lucky. I'm lucky to be able to afford a season ticket as well because I know people can't afford to go to games and things like that. And it doesn't make them any less a fan at all, in my opinion. And so. I've always said I wouldn't leave my front door if I thought we're going to lose again. What's the point of going? But I understand people have different mentalities. That's fair enough. I ain't knocking them. It's just the way I am. I am what I am. I'm the way I am.
This is what Harry Redknapp thinks of it.
Dealer. There's not been much wheeling and dealing,
I'm not a wheeling and dealing. No, fuck off.
And this is another man who's a bit vilified. Show us the Wonga.
I'll get him off.
Right, he's got to bump up the money because we've got the money. He's got to bump it up. And if this rule goes through on Man City saying that it's illegal that owners are not allowed to spend their money, they've been taking the Football League to the courts, haven't they?
Monday. Starts on Monday. For 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Is it true? Now, Adrian probably knows this better than me. Is it true that these 115 charges, they are time sensitive? Like they've got to get on with it or else time will run out?
No, in Europe.
This is what I was told. They're time sensitive.
Well, they are. Well, the person who told you, I'm not saying they were lying to you or deliberately mistaken. They're probably mistaken because in Europe, Man City couldn't be done again because they do have a statute of limitations on charging football clubs, right? And obviously, you don't want to go back in history like 30 years, do you? You know what I mean?
No.
Witnesses' memories have faded and gone wrong and all this. No, theirs aren't. And they're desperate now because basically what they're trying to do is say that I get where they're coming from. I think it's lame. They're going to say it's against normal competition. It's a restriction of competition if clubs as a business can't spend what they want when they want.
I can sort of understand where they're coming from a little bit.
Yeah, but their sponsors. Not if you've got normal sponsors and Spurs was say we were sponsored by Get Here or We've Gone Now or Cinch for $100,000 a year, right? And it's accepted. Yeah, they've got deals with other clubs and they're $100,000 a year. Whatever, it's fine. You get a general idea of what a fair sponsorship deal is for both parties, right?
Yeah.
With Man City, because they're owned by state-owned businesses, what has happened is a lot of the companies in the group have sponsored Man City with extortionate amounts of money.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is what the Premier League is saying is wrong. Well, my argument is I'm not a lawyer. I did study law. I'm not a lawyer, but my argument would be that, listen, you buy a bit of software or you get a bit of free software on the internet or you log on to anything, what it says, do you accept the terms and agreement, licensing agreement, right? If you don't get the software. To me, Man City have accepted the rules of the Premier League all these other years and now they want to bring this up, right? To me, I don't think they've got a leg to stand on. I think they're trying to get the Premier League to back off.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get done. I actually think, and Chelsea, I think they're going to get done even worse because.
Oh.
Yeah, because
throw the book at all of them.
Yeah, I mean,
it's what we're looking at there, Nick. Expulsion.
Sorry.
And so, what do you think we're looking at with Man City? Expulsion.
Relegation.
Yeah, relegation. What, and Chelsea as well?
Yeah, definitely Chelsea.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. So I'll be able to go and watch my...
I based it on...
No confidence, Ellie.
In the Times, you've had articles in the Guardian that are coming out the nearest this comes. And as Man City are having a pop of the Premier League, I think the media will lean on the side of the Premier League because if you break the rules of the Premier League, you break the Premier League.
Yeah.
You know,
do.
And
you bring it into distribute, don't we, lads? It's distribute.
Although to be honest, I blame the Premier League for all this money that's floating about now anyway. Because when it was the old First Division, before the Premier League started, there was none of this like millions of pounds floating about. It was Sky and the Premier League that ruined all this.
Yeah.
You know, it was.
Well,
I just want to read that Ryan Daigle's comment, right? Lenny Mac, I don't know if you've ever watched this, but it's available on YouTube. A documentary called Gaza, the Real Me. It was made by his life leading up to joining Spurs. Incredible watch.
I'm sure I've seen that.
There's millions of Gaza fans, even non-Spurs fans, right? I mean, Newcastle, where he started his career, right? Maybe his local team, but then he went to Newcastle. Then he came to us, and he had the choice to go to Man United as well. If anybody's seen that thing with Alan Shearer and Gary Lineker, what a great crack that is. I won't give it away just in case.
Have you seen the bit where they question him about joining Man United, and he says about the three things? It's so funny.
It's so funny. I cracked up. I nearly fell off my sofa. Honestly,
Mark, with the bit about Chelsea, right? The Premier League haven't ratified them selling their hotel for 70 million. How do you get your money back on a hotel when you bought it for 70 million to one of their companies? Right?
That's the hotel.
There's been payments of millions to an executive over a property deals, right? We had the rumours about the Willian deal when we didn't come to Spurs, how he was paid. There's rumours about other players and payments being made by offshore companies. Now, if Man City have broken the rules and overspent, that's different. But with Chelsea, the reason this situation's worse and they haven't been charged yet is because it means they would have submitted false accounts. Well, that's fraud.
Wow.
Yeah, that is fraud.
So that's a criminal offence, but they wouldn't get done on that because the taxmen have just come in and call and say, right, you sods owe us money, pay us and look happy, or else we will go to court, you know? So with Man City, the overspend, well, depends what they have and what they haven't put through their books. I mean, the devil's in the detail. Man City, their case comes up in November. By then we should hear more about Chelsea. We know the Premier League, we're getting into gear with Everton and Nottingham Forest, and Leicester are going to get hammered as well. Now they're promoted again.
You got to feel sorry for them, haven't you? They've only just come up. They're going to get hit again.
Well, because they were going to get hit when they were relegated anyway.
Yeah.
And Leicester were trying to make the excuse, well, if we aren't in the Premier League no more, you can't punish us.
Yeah.
Do you
know what?
Is that what this is about? This is about when they were in the Premier League.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
And like Abramovich, she's not even allowed to get into the country anymore. So that's how bad it is.
No, I was going to say, Abramovich has been expelled, hasn't he?
He's been expelled from the country. He can't come back in.
Good point, Ellie. Just going back to Abramovich, right?
Yes.
Before all this started, before he was pumping money into the club and any rumours were going on about wrongdoings and all that, Abramovich, because he was in cahoots with Putin, right? Even back then, it wasn't mentioned. I mean, the government sit on a lot of dodgy characters, and if they're pumping millions into the country and creating a few thousand jobs, they leave them alone until it becomes an issue or a sore point with them, and then they'll go after these people. There's lots of people they sit on, right, and don't move against, right? And Abramovich tells you a story about Abramovich and what our security service enough know about people, because Abramovich applied for British citizenship before any of this, and he was refused.
Yeah.
So read it between the lines, hang on, what's this all about then, right? If he's been refused, what dealings is he involved in? We've heard about all the oligarchs buying property up in London, blah, 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 and all that. In Cyprus as well, Ellie, and all that, you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? He's mining the gas on Cyprus because they're fracking it. They're actually fracking it from the sea.
So, and then, Mark, read between the lines on this, send you in the chat, right? So you read between the lines. The government have told Abramovich, right, you've got to sell the club, right?
Yeah.
And you get nothing. Now, just bear in mind the nothing part, right?
Yeah.
So Abramovich walks away from a club worth 2 or 3 billion or whatever without nothing.
Yeah,
right?
he pumped in $1 billion or 2 billion, whatever.
Probably in unsecured loans, right? Because if he was ever going to leave under good circumstances, he'd probably want his money back anyway, right? So that tells you straight away, hang about, the government have really got a lot on you, mister. They're virtually saying to you, if you don't sell that club and go, not only will we like foreclose on Chelsea, you'll be facing criminal charges in this country, right? And that's why I think he went quietly, because if someone's going to take 2 billion off you, Mark, you're going to go to court, aren't you?
That
money out of the country. Get
as much 2 billion,
or they can get hold of you, you know. And yet he surrenders the club for nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, it stinks. I mean, it stinks all the way. You've still got to prove it. But it just stinks, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea are going to get absolute. I think they'll get relegated. I do.
And so either next season or the season after, then it'll come to like the Conference League, and it'll be Yeovil Town 3, Chelsea 0.
Come on, Yeovil Town.
Come on, Yeovil. Green Army and all that.
Come on, Yeovil.
Whoever we get as a new government, probably Labour, I think they'll still go ahead with the football regulator, and the football regulator said, whoever it is, said they don't want to interfere too much in football. But if the Premier League aren't seen to be acting hard, right, you know, they'll step in.
We'll
see what powers they've got, you know, and I'm all for it. All for it.
You know what, lads? Do you know what, lads? Right? If Chelsea get relegated, I'm having a party, and you two are invited.
Yeah,
we're having a party. Come on. I don't like the club, and my future son-in-law is a big Chelsea fan, so I want to see him cry.
I know several around this area. There's several. There's several Chelsea fans that I know I know, and they just give me grief all the time because we never beat them.
I wonder if Brian Daigle in the chat here, good guy.
Yeah, he's a good
Spurs fan. I wonder if he's seen the little video clip I was posted about when they're asking Gaza.
The two-parter.
Yeah, if he was going to join Man United and what he comes out with and says about.
We was just on about that. That's funny.
I don't know if we sent it to Brian. He might have probably seen it.
Do you know when your mother, you know when your first time you make love and the woman goes, brace yourself. It's like that.
I didn't get that, Ellie.
I can't remember.
Go back and think of England. You know what I mean? The first time. No, I don't want to take it down to a sordid thing, but you know when you watch Gaza, you know you're going to crack up.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the first time you kiss somebody. Sometimes you get it wrong. You know, sometimes you get it right. I mean, I'm a particularly good kisser, but I'm not bragging. You know what I mean? Right, here we go. Look, I'm going to get the men talking about these things now. You know,
go through the chat. Go through the chat, Ellie.
Right, check out Roberto Saviano interview.
Right, if you're doing that, I got to pop to the toilet.
And he explains how all the money goes through London.
Yeah.
Lenny Mac, you're right. It's like oligarch money, isn't it? And they just launder it through, and the government turn a blind eye to it, don't they, Adrian?
Yeah.
And it's a shame that they're doing it because they're getting away with blue murder, really. And it's I think it's criminal, but it's also like with Chelsea, right? They've bought their trophies in a nasty way. And I just think that club, they shouldn't have allowed it to go on. And the Football League turned a blind eye. And now they're going to come clamping on. They should have done it then, shouldn't they, Adrian? They should have nipped it in the bud and sent Abramovich on his way. But it's all about the money, right? There's so much greed in football now, you know, and it's really
there's no way a Chelsea or Man City fan, you know, I've got less. I mean, Chelsea I hate, but I mean, like Man City, I've got no dog in a fight with them. But at the same time, you know, if a Man City fan ever comes and argues on our shows and all this, or a Chelsea fan, they haven't got a leg to stand on. Because to me, all
the
Chelsea have won under Abramovich are fake.
I know.
And
Lenny Max making a brilliant comment there.
The same under Man City. Not sure who the owners were when they had Pellegrini and Mancini there or whatever it was. So, and they won their first trophies. Not sure. You know.
Right, we've got Leo in the house, Mile High Hotspur. He's got up. Remember, they're about 7 or 8. I think it's 6 or 7 hours behind us. So it's quite early there. Yo, yo, yo. Hope you're all well. Big up the chat. Is that my lager sipping homie the sheriff? Yes, it is.
Not so much lager these days. Not so much anymore. It used to be low.
Diet Coke.
Here we go.
Yes.
There's always a bottle of Diet Coke by me. You should know that.
Yeah, better to drink water though for your health.
I'm feeling fresh as a daisy, Mark, because I only used to drink match days and come back, but then you're on podcast after you've had a skinful. Once you get the taste, you know you want to carry on.
Yeah,
I've held it together on podcasts. A couple I've lost it when people have annoyed me. That never happens. Never happens on the server. But since the season's closed, I haven't touched a drop, and I think I'll probably go into the new season the same way.
You know what? We like this, Adrian. We like you as sober, Adrian, because that's
the thing that gets me. Every time I go to it's like I was saying at the beginning when it was me and Elly on it. But I got a 8-9 hour coach ride to get to the ground and back, and so we normally leave at like 8 for a 3 o'clock kickoff. We're normally 8 o'clock. By 9 o'clock, I've got a can open on the bus.
Yeah, because it's a journey. You want to kill.
Yeah, because I always take like 5 or 6 cans. Like have some on the way up, some on the way back, and I've normally had 3 or 4 cans by the time we park up. Then it's straight into bricklayers. Well, my routine is maybe a pint in the Bill Neck, then a few in the bricklayers, then straight along to the Levy Out protest.
Yeah.
And then wander around the South Stand to go in.
And then what do you do, Mark?
Mark, I've got a question. It's one that's puzzled me for years, right?
Into Elly.
Yeah, I'd bump into Elly.
This question's puzzled me for years. Perhaps you can help me answer it, Mark. How comes it takes 10 minutes to walk to your local, but half hour to walk home?
It is now. I get abducted by aliens. It is alien abduction down this way.
Yeah,
it always is.
What you got to try to do is not associate alcohol when you're going with Spurs games, because then it is a day out now because the stadium's open. You've got the fan zone. You've got hour and a half out to a game to drink as well. Yeah. Stadium opens 2 hours, and the fan zone's brilliant. They got the TV screens there and all the bars outside. I mean. You know,
the chat is going like hell.
I stopped going in. When I was going to meet people, Chris Cowlin, McQueen, Jason McGovern, Lee McQueen, and all that, and the Dorset Spurs, they all go in for Gilpin Bell because it's more like a type of pub. And it's a big pub, very roomy.
And Gilpin's up the road.
The young at heart Dorset Spurs, they want to go across into LTs because it's mental in there. Playing Spurs songs and all that. And I think they're fantastic to make a journey. Like I do with all the groups.
I went with Dorset Spurs once, but the trouble is, it was trying to remember what game it was.
Did you go to Coach and Horses?
No. They always go in the Gilpin.
I don't know where that pub is.
It's north of the stadium.
But whereabouts is it? Is it north?
Well, you know where Coach and Horses is. If you walk towards Edmonton, not towards the stadium, it's about a 5-minute walk.
Yeah.
But is it off the high road or
no? It's on the front. It's got a real long frontage. It's a big pub.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know where.
Because they park on
the corner, big pub.
Dorset Spurs park their 2 minibuses because they always take 2 minibuses.
It's 20 quid to park in a
they park their 2 minibuses in their car park that they've got 2 parking spaces reserved.
Yeah.
Because I went with them once, but the trouble is with them is when they drop me back, they drop me in bloody Dorchester, and there's no trains, no taxis, no nothing. I was wandering about Dorchester for 8 hours for the first train to come back.
Bloody hell!
But I very nearly phoned Mr. Coover up to sleep on his settee, but I thought but I didn't even know. But I didn't even know if he was still up, so I never bothered. In the end, I wandered around the hospital. Wandered into the A&E, and I said, "Look, I've just been dropped. I've been to the football." I said, "Can I just sit here and like go to sleep or something for a couple of hours?" And they said, "Yeah, carry on." They said, "Would you like a cup of tea?" I said, "Oh, thank you very much." And so I just sat in A&E in the hospital all night.
These are the stories of drunken men. You realise this?
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, lads, we've got to wrap up the stream. I've had a blast with you all. This chat's been going mental. I've not even been able to keep up with it. But I just wanted to say this. David Shear watched the doco on Marseille buying the Champions League in '92. I think it was Melbourne Storms. Got nothing on that. You know? Right. Listen, lads, where can we find you? First of all, Adrian, where can we find you?
Spurs Diehards on Facebook and at Adrian_Sroker on X Twitter.
Okay, and do you want to plug our new show?
Well, we are going to, in the week or two, need to get the other admins together, but we've got 4 admins, Mark, and two lot on a panel. All people are welcome to come on. We are starting a podcast, Spurs Diehards TDD, which will be a spin-off from the Facebook group, and the admins are Elly, Ian Meth, and Chang. So we've got a strong team. We've got 4 seats. They can run shows anytime they like because they are admins. Well, I mean, we bought the StreamYard Professional between us. We split it 4 ways. Yeah. So we just all have an equal say. So
I'm paying you my bit today.
Okay, I think...
You have to send me your bank details, Adrian, all right?
Right, okay, all right. And yeah, so, but I want to get the admins together this weekend because it'll suit Chang you 7 hours in front.
We meet at a pub.
meet online on the test page, because before we do a stream, Chang's better. Better than me with setting these things up. I mean, I've got a test page up, it's okay, but I mean, we need the introduction music, which is going to be when the Spurs go marching in, and as everyone
is that not copyrighted? Is that not copyrighted?
It can't be, can it? Because everyone sings it.
Everybody sings it.
We'll soon find out, won't we?
Yeah.
Well, YouTube will ban us, won't
I
they?
want to end it with everyone who says, "Come on, you Spurs." I've got a
come on, you
clip.
Spurs.
I don't know how to add clips yet. I've got to be honest. We'll finish it with the "Come on, you Spurs" because people don't listen to the end music. They'll hear a couple of "Come on, you Spurs" and then they'll just go and have something to eat or do what they got to do, you know. Yeah. So we'll get it up and running. We'll get guests, and then I'll try and get contact with Mickey Az and other people like that, and try and get them on the show.
Gary Mabbott.
We've got to have this meeting very soon, don't we?
Steve Stetchley's in Singapore, isn't he, or he's in the Far East, unless he's in Australia now.
He was in Australia, wasn't he?
Gary Stevens. Sorry, Gary Stevens. I'm thinking of another good player. Yeah. Another very good player.
Yeah, he's a very good player.
And I'll put feelers out to them, and we'll see if we can get them on. But I want to get firmly established first. So a few months, see how we're doing, and I'm hoping
we got our hook. We got our hook, so I can put it in the chat. You know our hook, for our social media. So
the link.
We've got the Spurs Diehards WhatsApp, haven't we, for that?
No, but we want to do. You know when people put their hook on in the chat, Spurs Diehards. You know
the link.
Our URL. You know what that is, don't you?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. But that's when we do a test page, you can put it up. But we're not quite ready for that.
Yeah, but what we want to do is start putting it in people's chats so they know we're coming. They're going to get ready for us.
I think to do that, Ellie, I think we've got to do the first one. Do we have to pay for YouTube? I don't even know if we've got to pay for YouTube or not.
No. I mean, you pay for StreamYard. You don't pay for YouTube as well.
Okay, so to do that, to have a link, we really need to get a first introduction YouTube video. We get that done, and then people can link to that and subscribe to that. But until we've done a video, we haven't got that. I've already written a post to my membership because we only got about 4,000 Brits out of the 13,700. There's only about 4,000 Brits, and I don't know how many. I mean, in theory, you'd think, we get loads, right? In theory, that's wishful thinking. I'm just being conservative because I don't know how many of them actually use YouTube, how many use YouTube, or how many just use or just use Facebook. You get it vice versa, and all you got people that use YouTube don't use Facebook. So I'm not going to go too gung ho and what I think. Look, we'll be fine. I know we'll be fine.
Have you even set the channel? Can people subscribe to this channel yet or not?
What,
well, we haven't got a video up, so
we haven't. We've got to do our URL if they want to
subscribe. I was going to say, that's why I asked.
Adrian, because YouTube will give us a URL, and that's StreamYard to give us a URL. Sorry, and then we put it out there so that
we don't want to StreamYard URL to go out there. Just get everybody on the show.
Yeah.
You want the YouTube one, don't you? So people
the YouTube one's the most important.
Right.
Yeah. That's so you can get subs.
We'll do that this weekend. But what I wanted to do, Ellie, because Chang's 7 hours in front, I wanted to message Chang. Ian said he'd be free next week. See, I don't know how busy people are at weekends, but we can find a slot.
I'm always free. I'm always free.
I know you are, but it's Ian and Chang. So and I'm always free because I'm
what you should do then is ask him his schedule.
Yeah, what I want to do is get us, before we do anything, get us four on, get the intro music on, get the ending music on, then we're virtually ready to go. We've got some banners, right? There's still lots of things, you know, lots of little tweaks we can do, but we can start with that, right? I'm still trying to get used to how to use it as an admin, like, you know. I'm not.
I ain't got a clue. There's no point asking me.
I know how to do it.
Chang does. Chang is, but he's 7 hours in front.
Chang knows how to do it.
Before we do anything, post any Earls, we need to be ready to go. We need to get us four together, have a chat, add the music. Are we happy with it? We've all got our agreement. This isn't going to be like one person makes all the decisions.
What we should do though is before we do the music, right? We all get together and then we play a lot of different ideas and then we choose the best one between us, because we're never always going to agree on things. That's natural, right? But we've got to come to a mutual agreement, haven't we?
The reason I chose when the Spurs go marching in is because it's our anthem, and as the group's called Spurs by Diehards TTID, it suits. And having "Come on, you Spurs" at the end, it's like "Come on, you Spurs," right at the end of the show, you know. So I think that it signposts what and who we are, and we've got a very direct name, Spurs Diehards TTID. It's a very direct. People know straight away Spurs Diehards. I mean, some of the groups have got different names. Some people have got names that they've got their name in front, and then there's a reference to Spurs or what, and some are totally different. But having ours signposted directly Spurs to Spurs, I just think it's a sort of like better. I just think it's better, but that's just my opinion.
There you go. I'll just put it up for you. Oh, when the Spurs go marching in, I want to be in that number. Oh, when the Spurs go marching in, come on, you Spurs.
But the clip I've got, Mark, is the one with the bugler at the stadium standing on top of her. And that's quite loud. I mean, I wanted
that was the Arsenal game. That was the Arsenal game, wasn't it? When he's up on the skywalk.
Yeah. But if the other three don't like it, fair enough. We have to go with. I don't want a flat intro. I want a in-your-face intro.
Yeah.
Something that's going to capture everybody's imagination and everybody
and fire them up before the podcast.
Yeah, and then we come on and we fire them up a bit more. So, Mark, where can we find you apart from at home?
Shouting at clouds, frightening away evil spirits, and chasing sheep.
That's a typical.
Have you got a preference, blonde or black sheep, Mark?
My dad was a shepherd, so he was using sheep. Yeah, my dad was a shepherd.
Well,
obviously, not in England.
Well, no, they're all the same to me. I'm not like I don't discriminate.
Okay, fair enough.
You know what I mean.
Well, before this conversation goes really downhill, I think
I think we're going to end the show now.
Goodbye and nip over to Kate.
End the stream, Dave.
Before we nick over to Kate,
there's not been much wheeling and dealing,
no, not a wheeling and dealing. No, fuck off.
I love that. Right, so I'm going to play the outro now. I'm going to bloody have to find it. Right, hold on, lads. I'm going to find it. Just bear with me. Right, and thank you very much for everybody in the chat. You've been marvellous. I mean, you know, it's been buzzing. And Eltel Cockerell, he's on, I think he's on tonight as well. I think he does his mop-up show tonight, if I'm right. But if I'm wrong, he's got to have one show. And obviously,
on my Facebook, it says 4:30 he's on.
Yeah, 4:30 he comes on. And then I think probably Talk and Ball are going to do one as well.
Oh, 10 o'clock or something.
Colin will do something as well.
Yeah.
So
England's on tonight, aren't they? Is England playing tonight? Or was that last night?
Oh my God, I'm behind myself. No, Talk and Ball are going to be on as well. But let me just check when they're on, so I don't give you the wrong information. Talk and Ball.
My Facebook notifications, there's a show set up for one of them for 4:30 or something.
4:30. That'll be both Jose and Colin.
That's the one I saw.
Everybody go and tune in on that. That'll be a fantastic show as well.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, you lads. It's been marvellous. We've been covering everything today, you know. And also we covered a bit of Spurs' history. So what I'll do another show where we're going to cover other parts of our history, the glorious 60s as well. Because, you know, that was probably our best period under Bill Nicholson. So we've got to give you a whole show. I think that's the sort of show you do for the whole show. All right, lads? Yeah. Have a lovely afternoon. What is it, 1:01 now? So you can go and have some lunch and enjoy the rest of the day. And everybody in the chat, thank you very much. You take care. Till the next time. Come on, you Spurs. Over to you, Mark.
Come on, you Spurs.
Adrian?
Sorry?
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
And as always, no. I'm not doing Brian's thing. I'm not doing Brian's thing. That's copyrighted, Brian's thing.
That's copyrighted.
Yeah, that's copyright.